مساء الخير جميعا، يتجدد لقاءنا الأسبوعي مع برنامج نيوكاسل مع وليد. هذه المرة بجانب الوليد. Good evening everyone. Welcome to LW Newcastle show, Newcastle with Alwaleed. This time I'm staying here beside Alwaleed.
Yeah, because of the new year.
Yeah,
New Year,
because the
everyone.
New Year. I would like to welcome our guest tonight, Jimmy. Jimmy is a huge football fan, born near London, and living now in Newcastle since 11 years. Jimmy is a former player and now coaching a local team in Newcastle, Rington No Camp FC. I will ask you a question about that, Jimmy. Jimmy has a good knowledge uh, base of European football, particularly Portuguese league. Um, Good evening, Jimmy. How are you?
Hello, good evening to you too as well, and very happy New Year as well.
Yeah, to you as well.
How's things?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, I would like to ask you about the Rington No Camp. So I think that you are a fan of Barcelona.
Yeah, they've got a Barcelona badge, yeah, which is quite funny because they can play like Barcelona sometimes, but sometimes they don't play like Barcelona as well.
So they're playing like tiki taka, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah, we try and get them to play football. They're all quite young lads, so it's a little bit of fun sometimes. It's not too much tactical. It's just more man management. But yeah, I got involved. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I've always thought that I had something to offer with regards to football, and particularly younger players, because I played a good level of football when I was younger, and I was probably a bit of a misfit player. Alwaleed, Steve will be able to tell you about this because I never tracked back and defended. I was always good at attacking, but never the other side. So I was always a bit of a misfit player. I had all the potential. I like to think I was a good player. I scored a lot of goals when I was younger, but I never worked too hard. I just done enough, and I've tried to sort of instill in my lads to try and not have that attitude, because I think if I had a more level head on my shoulders and maybe some different people around me and maybe played for different managers, I might have been able to progress a little bit more than I did. I played a good level, but I think I could have played a better level. So I've always kind of regretted that side of things, but took into account that I think I've got like the ability to then try and nurture younger players and work with them so they kind of don't make the same mistakes as me. So that was a big thing that I've always been like obsessed with football since a young age. I was never without a football when I was growing up. So my mum said to me that was your best friend, a football. You didn't want to talk to anyone else. You just wanted to play football. So like as I've got older, I've kind of like, I don't play 11 aside anymore. I was playing like 7 aside, but then COVID came in, so unfortunately we stopped playing. So I kind of wanted to get into a managerial sort of position, but when you don't have a lot of experience, for me, I'm quite a shy person. So like I'm relatively new to YouTube and stuff. I'm not that out there, so I don't really have the confidence to go up to someone and say, look, where do I go to find out to become a coach? And I kind of fell into it through somebody I've met through Steve. When I played for Steve's team, Alwaleed, his assistant manager is involved in the team I'm with now. So I had a bit of a chat with him on Facebook, funnily enough, just randomly, and sort of said to him my plans, and one thing led to the other, and I've been there since September, and we're doing really well, and I probably enjoy it more than when I played, because you're working with individuals that are a young age and they kind of look up to me a little bit, and it's kind of quite a lot of responsibility. Not necessarily responsibility, but I like to win. I'm a bit of a bad loser, if I'm honest. So I have to kind of curb that in me and think these are only young boys. They're still in school and they're not necessarily like that advanced when it comes to football. There's a couple of players in particular that when I came, I kind of tried to have a look at what they could offer in a football perspective, ability-wise, and I've changed around a couple of their positions. Like there's a lad in particular, he wasn't playing, he wasn't starting for us, and he's a really strong boy. He's quite a confident chappy when you're talking to him, but on the football pitch, he was the complete opposite. So I've done a little bit of work with him, tried to simplify his passing and that, because he would get the ball and always look for a big ball over the top. So we've tried to work with individual players on certain attributes that they've got, like pace, or they're good at passing or something like that. And we've created a little team, and we've got players, as I said a minute ago there, that weren't even getting a game when I come in, and now they start for us. So for me, that's personal growth in a young player, but also personal growth for me as a coach, to think, right, I've developed him enough to actually for him to be starting now. And you get a lot of good feedback at that level from adults. Lads don't necessarily say too much. If you told a striker to play right back in that league, he would do it because he just wants to play. But it's just about putting the right sort of pieces into the jigsaw, and we're doing all right. So I'm hoping none of the lads are going to watch this, because we're top of the league and they don't know that. So they don't. We've told them they can't know the table. We don't want them to see the table, because then maybe they think they're doing too good, you know, and drop off. Yeah. So we're doing well, but I've been there for 10 games with them so far, and we've won 9 of them. So I'm really chuffed. And one boy in particular, he was playing defensive midfield when I first went to the club, and I moved him to more of a centre forward position, and told him that he needs to start shooting more, because he has so much ability. You know, when you see a young player and you think, this guy's a really quality little footballer for his age. He was very good at winning the ball back, but I've seen more of him as a striker. And we've moved him upfield, and I think he's got something like 12 goals in 12 games or something like that. He's doing really good. And at that level, it's all about, like I say to him, you're going to be better than Ronaldo, you. Everyone's going to be talking about you one day, and it's just a case of trying to really work their ego and make them feel like they're professionals, you know. And he's scoring a lot of goals, and he's having a lot of fun, and you get good feedback from the parents, and that's the big thing for me. And it's like seeing the young players develop as people, not necessarily footballers, just good people, you know. That's probably the most enjoyable part of it. But winning's important as well, and we're doing all right at that. So yeah.
So Jammie, you are more like Mourinho or Guardiola with ball position. Style of coaching.
I'm like I'm not like Bruce, put it that way. I don't know. I kind of like a counter-attacking style of football. I'm not going to say Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because that would be too wouldn't it? But yeah, I kind of like the boys to be confident. I like them to get the ball and look for individual players and build up little patterns of play. But at that level, it's very hard to sort of pick a style of play. You've just got to try and, it's more man management and motivation. That's what comes into it there. But I don't like to lose Alwaleed, so I'm that manager that runs up the touchline like, yes, come on, boys. So
what is the best moment in coaching? What's the thing you like the most? One thing you like the most in coaching?
I like to see improvement. And when things are not, just like what we work on in training, I like to see them put it into a game. And sometimes it's hard, but I kind of do see that. But my proudest moment at the team so far, to be honest with you, we went 9 games unbeaten, and we were scoring like probably 5 a game. And then we come up against a team that were second bottom in the league, and the lads were just like, oh, we've played these already. We beat them 5-0 about a month ago. And I was like, well, don't think that you can beat them now just because you beat them a month ago. It's a different game. And I think they just took their eye off the ball a little bit, and they were getting beat 2-0 our last home game before Christmas. And they come off at half time, and they were sort of head down. And I was just like, look, you're getting beat, so what? Like, it doesn't matter. Now is the time for you to stand up and show that you want to win. And sometimes you've got to use a little bit of reverse psychology with young people. And I just said to them, I said to the captain of the team, and he's a really bad loser like me, so I know if I tell him something, he'll tell the rest of the team. So sometimes you got to be clever. And I said to him, I says, come here, see their defender? He's just said this is an easy game. And that was it. All the lads, they went out and we drew 2-2. And we played out of our skin in the second half, and we should have won. We had a ball cleared off the line in the last minute, and we hit the post earlier on in the half as well. So I was on the touchline like, every 2 minutes. But that showed me a lot of character, and sometimes seeing that is better than winning sometimes, because it shows progression, as I mentioned a minute ago. But yeah, improvement, Alwaleed, to an answer to your question. Improvement.
I have all the experiment before in coaching.
Yeah.
The most thing I like is when I making a plan in my head, like design a play of formation or design a style of scoring a goal, and I see it exactly in the field.
Yeah.
And you put that player in that position because you know he can sneak from behind suddenly, and this player he's got good positioning. And if what I plan in my head happens, I become very, very happy. I think this is the most enjoying moment.
Yeah, it's good when you're working on certain things, isn't it? And then you see it. It's like I do a lot of one-to-one, because I'm only assistant manager. I can kind of like work one-on-one with players, whereas the manager needs to manage the whole group. So it's nice sometimes to be able to take an individual player. For example, we had a young boy come from Poland. He's lived in Newcastle for 9 years, and he's always wanted to play football. So he went to a team in our league, funnily enough, and they said to him that he wasn't good enough. So he was really upset, really downbeat. He never thought he was going to play football in England. And he isn't a bad player. It's just more of a confidence thing. So he came to train in the first time, and we had a little look at him. And I thought, you know what? There's a little player in there. He's got some ability in certain areas. He just needs to put his chin up a bit, you know? And then his mum sort of said, is he okay to come back next week? So I said to the manager, give me a session with him, just me and him. I'm going to try and find out what position he wants to play. And then I'm going to work with him for the whole session on that particular position. So in this instance, he was a winger. So I got him comfortable on the ball in the wide areas. I tried to get him to run down the byline, cross in, and it was just me and him. He stayed away from the other lads. And his mum come up to me at the end of the session, and she gave him a big hug, which was nice to see. And she says, I think that's the best I've ever seen him play. And I just felt like, I mean, you can't see how tall I am here, but Steve will vouch I'm not very tall. So I felt really, really, really tall. And I thought, that's good. I hope he goes home now and he has a bit of confidence. And we're actually going to sign him on. We're gonna bring him to the club. So he really come out his shell with me, and he started thinking a lot more. He was interacting with the group, and I think it's like what you said, Alwaleed, when something sort of goes the way you think in here, it's great, ain't it? It's like, it's such a it's euphoric.
Exactly.
Coaching is 100% more satisfying when it goes right than actually playing football. Have you played, Alwaleed? Have you played as well?
Yeah, I play left back and left wing.
Yeah.
Yeah, all position.
What style of player are you?
Actually, I'm kind of Roberto Carlos.
Oh,
But
so you're not bad then.
yeah.
What about you, El? Do you play?
Goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper.
A goalie.
Yeah, goalkeeper.
Aldalo.
Yeah.
What about Portuguese? I noticed something about your
the Portuguese league. What's the secret behind it?
When I was growing up, my next door neighbor was a Portuguese boy, and we just became friends. He couldn't speak very good English when he first came to the country, and he loved football. All he could say was Luis Figo. That's all he could say in English. And he moved from Portugal. I can't remember how old he was, to be honest, but and we just got really friendly. Can I speak?
Yeah.
Only the swear words, but I'm not going to say them on here. But I'm quite good at them. But so he was a Benfica fan. So I used to go around his house, and every game we would always go to the garage and we would buy a pizza and we would get a can of Coke. If he was listening to this, he would laugh now because we've done it all the time. And I used to go and watch football with him, and he's one of my best friends now. He's been my friend since the day I met him. And it's like I have a great relationship with his family, and Yeah, he's just a top lad, and because of him being from Portugal, and he kind of introduced me to the Portuguese game, and I think he probably helped with the style of play as well, because I seen him doing all these step overs when traditionally English players didn't really do them at the time, and I quite liked it. I thought I liked that. I fancy being Cristiano Ronaldo on a Saturday, or Ricardo Quaresma, so I might give these tricks a go, and I got quite good at them to a certain extent. So that was kind of my style of play, a little bit more continental and pace and trickery, and sometimes it didn't go well. I remember Steve taking me off at halftime sometimes. So, but you got to be brave, and that's where it came from. It was playing football with him, watching football with him, and I've kind of just carried it on as I've got older. And I know quite a lot about Portuguese football. So just because of him, really. I watched the Benfica games, the Sporting Lisbon games, the Porto games, and it's a quite good league technically. It's not the best league as in team-wise, but because of him, I think my knowledge has grown into. I was signing Portuguese footballers on Football Manager when no one knew who they were. So yeah, it's good, and it gives me a good knowledge of football as well. I like to think my football knowledge is quite good, but particularly the Portuguese league, I pay probably a little bit more attention than any other league. But I've got a couple of clubs that I follow from different leagues. Like I have a bit of a soft spot for Celtic. I obviously have a soft spot for Newcastle, but you'll know that already, Alwaleed. And obviously being a Man United fan as well. So yeah, but I just football in general. I just love football. That's just what it is with me. So yeah, if you want any information on the Portuguese league, come to me.
You may say to him, "Thank you" in Portuguese. Obrigado.
Yeah, see, your Portuguese is better than mine. Do you follow a Pacific league, or like obviously I know you support Al Hilal as well, so do you follow any? Do you follow any other league?
It's the best team ever, Al Hilal.
Yeah, are they top of the league?
Yeah, right now, yeah.
I was looking at their squad the other day, just in case you asked me any questions about them. And I've completely forgot who the striker is, but I used to play for Swansea. What's his name? Gomez. Yeah. Does he still do that celebration where he like sort of does
the lion? Yeah, exactly.
Good player he is.
But he is tired these days. I don't know why.
You want to swap him for Joe Linton? Al Hilal can have Joe Linton, and Newcastle can have.
He's tired. Enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah. Let's start with the Premier League standing. We start from the position 1 from the bottom.
But we play this video first.
Yeah, play this video first.
Yeah.
Okay, the first position from the bottom, Sheffield United. It's weird. This team was 5 points to the Europe League last season.
It was 9.
Yeah. At the end, it was the 9th position. However, 5 points, from Tottenham, who went to the Europe League. I believe, in my opinion, I don't think the problem with the players or with the coach the main problem with the management. Like I know most of the clubs, like they weren't like get players because of the COVID, and their financial are really bad. But I believe they like what they got last year. I don't know if it was just luck. What do you think, Jimmy?
I don't particularly think it was just luck, but I kind of do understand where you're coming from.
Like this season, they have just 2 points.
Yeah. I think they've just been worked out a little bit. I think they had quite a unusual formation last season, and they had quite attacking fullbacks with a solid back three that were traditional centre backs. They weren't really looking to play balls into the midfield and be ball playing defenders. They were more like, I'm going to be big and tough and I'm going to win our aerial challenges. And I think they definitely overachieved. But I think teams just didn't really suss them out. And I think they've just been worked out a little bit. Like you just mentioned a minute ago there, I don't think their recruitment was very, very good. And I think they kind of just took their eye off the ball a little bit with it. They went out and bought Brewster from Liverpool, a very young player that nobody really knows how good he is. People say he's good, but it's like he's coming into a team now that is not Liverpool. He's not going to be playing with world-class players every week. And I think they've just been found out a little bit. And it's a shame because I really like their manager. I think he's a great manager. But when they come up from the Championship, they still have a lot of players in their team that played for them in League One. So it's like going from League One up until to the Championship and then the Premier League. You'll know with following Newcastle that you have to bring that Premier League standard quality player in, or you end up going back down. So I think they're going to struggle definitely, but I kind of hope they stay up because I do like the manager, but they've got to like start winning games quickly. And they have a lot of quality a lot of players in their team that lacks the quality at that level. I think to a certain extent, they come up from the Championship and no one really knew what to expect. So everyone was a bit like, oh, goodness me. I remember when we played them, when Man U played them, and I was a bit like, goodness me, we can't break these down. Like, what's going on here? These are a club that was in League One a couple of seasons ago, and we're struggling against them. So we drew with them. But they just look a completely different team now. But they've got some very good players. I wouldn't mind Sander Berger at Man U. He's a very, very good player. He reminds me of the Nemanja Matic a little bit, but I think he's probably he's a lot younger than Matic. But they've got some good players as well. I just feel like they've fallen off of the track, so to speak, a little bit, which is a shame, really. But it happens if you don't buy the right players. You get found out very quickly.
I read some news about Sheffield, new news today. They mentioned that they just got COVID lately, and the coach Wilder says that must there be signing in this transfer window in January. Sandberg, the player you mentioned, he got, I think, injured against United, Manchester United, and Prince Abdullah, the owner of the club, he said the coach, he will stay, not will be sacked. What do you think?
Yeah, I think to a certain extent you need continuity in the coaching, and if any of the Matters lads are watching, that doesn't mean Newcastle. I'm not saying Bruce needs to stay, but I like to see continuity, especially for a manager that I actually really like, and he's done a lot for the club as well, and just to sack the manager. So it's something's got to change. But is their owner from Saudi? Is he? Yeah. So they're going to have a bit of financial backing, aren't they? So if they can bring the right player in, but he kind of, as I say, he's kind of went for a different sort of type of player in the last couple of like this transfer window, and it was a difficult window because of COVID, and I'm sure we'll talk about it multiple times talking about clubs. But if he gets the money, I'm confident he'll be able to bring the players in, but they're quite far behind in comparison to a relegation battle. So they've got some work to do, and they need to be getting points. I think they're playing tomorrow. Yeah, are they playing tomorrow?
They are
tomorrow. Yeah, again.
Yeah,
against Crystal Palace. Yeah, that'll be a tough game as well because Crystal Palace ain't been playing very well either recently. Hodgson's under a bit of pressure himself, so that'll be a good game tomorrow. It's a 6 point both teams.
and Jimmy, if you notice the result, it's always just 1 goal difference since 4 games.
Yeah, the one at the top stands out for me. It's a good result.
Yeah, they have good squad.
That's what I mean. If you look at the team, though, Alwaleed, like in comparison to the Premier League, there's not like a lot of quality proven Premier League players in there. I mean, you've got Ramsdale, who got relegated at Bournemouth. Egan was playing with them in League One. Basham played in the Premier League, but with Blackpool, they got relegated. Jack Robinson, he was at Liverpool, didn't make it there, went to Blackpool, and gradually sort of got a good home there. But you can go through the whole team, and it's sort of like Championship players. They don't have that Premier League core of player yet, and when you're losing players like Sander Berger, it's a big loss at that level because he is above the level that he's playing for sure.
All right, let's go to 19.
West Bromwich Albion.
Big Sam.
Yeah, they're just changing the manager, Calvin Bilic, and now since he draw against Manchester City, and the coach now is Sam Allardyce. Yeah, and the player. I think Allardyce asked to. He is the one of the managers request to postpone the games because COVID situation.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with him being in a relegation fight. I'd want to postpone the games as well if that was me.
He maybe just want to be just join the team. He want to get time with them.
Yeah.
What do you think about?
I think he'll want to go into the transfer window, won't he? It's when you look at the team on paper. I really like Sam Johnson as well. He was a young goalkeeper at Man United and he didn't quite make it, but he's a really good goalkeeper. I think he's good enough to play in the Premier League as well. I actually really like him. But like you're looking at Lee Peltier, you're looking at Ajayi, Dean Furlong. Like they're not Premier League players, are they? They've been playing in the Championship. I don't know about Ajayi. I think he's quite a young player, to be fair. But Sawyer's played for them when they were in the Championship. Callum Robinson, they signed from Sheffield United, but he signed from them from Preston, so he's a Championship player. They've got Phillips in the midfield that was playing at Blackpool when they were in the Premier League. He's only been in the Premier League since he's been with West Brom. Gallagher's a very good midfielder from Chelsea, but he's only on loan. And they signed the players that they had on loan the previous season. So they come up from the Championship and they signed the players that they had on loan. The chairman said that from the start, we want to get the likes of Dean Garner back from who they had on loan from West Ham. So they're another team that didn't necessarily bring in the quality of player and they're getting found out. And the Premier League is ruthless with lack of quality. You will get found out every single week because there's too many good teams in the Premier League. Even the lower to mid-table teams are good teams, and if you're not at it, they'll beat you. And I think Sam Allardyce gets brought in for an SOS job to clubs, and he will want a bit of money in the transfer window, and he will probably go and buy a target man, probably buy someone in the defence that's good at hoofing the ball up to that target man, and he'll try and be hard to beat. And he might just do it. It wouldn't surprise me. It's just what he does. And they got a really good result against Liverpool the other day, playing a formation of 7 and something like that at the back. Yeah, 6-4, but I'm all for 6-4s against Liverpool, honestly. Play 6-4 against Liverpool, every team in the Premier League going forward. Brilliant. But he got a good result, and that's all it's about, is getting results. So I'm expecting them to get better, but then they got absolutely hammered the other day, didn't they? 5-0. So it swings and roundabouts down the bottom of the table. One day you can you can have a good result against Liverpool, and then you get a beating like 5-0. And so it's like there needs to be a little bit of, there can't be too much of this. It's got to kind of even itself out with results. And they're exactly the same as Sheffield United. They need better players in this window, and they need to start winning games quickly, or they're going to be in the Championship next season.
Like our friend Martin, he says, this is the beauty of Premier League. Everybody beating everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, definitely. It's a hard league.
All right.
Okay, the 18th position, Fulham. Fulham is a big team, but his position is not that big.
See, last result, all 4 draw in the row. Wow.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah,
comment?
four draws, one against Liverpool. So congratulations, Fulham, for that. I do appreciate that. Brighton are a good team. I'll touch on Brighton when we get to them. Really like their manager, like the way they play. That's a good result. But yeah, it's just, funnily enough, I had the FIFA career mode with this team. So I know quite a lot about this squad of players. Football game, obviously, not in real life.
I just I put the last formation, last lineup,
Yeah.
last game.
Yeah, they've got some good players. They've got some good players, but Fulham always seem to be able to attract players. I think it's because they're based in London and in a nice part of London as well. So they can attract players, but they have a very inexperienced manager. Very good player when he played, but a very inexperienced manager. Done well last season getting them up, but they were lucky to go up as well. They got up via the Championship playoffs. So, and I thought they were going to get beat against Brentford, because Brentford were a better team over the season, but they ended up winning the game. And they've kind of tried to strengthen, but I think lack of quality again. And people will probably get bored of me saying lack of quality, but that's what it is at this level. It's like what Martin said, you get found out by teams in the Premier League, that it's ruthless. So we know what's going to happen with Fulham. To be honest with you, I'm expecting them to go down unless they make some marquee signings, and they've got Mitrovic up front. You know, and when you've got Mitrovic up front, no disrespect to Newcastle, because I didn't rate him when he was there either, but he's a big lump. He's more of a bodybuilder type striker. He can score goals, but he needs the service, and Fulham just don't have the quality to give him the service. And when you're expecting Mitrovic to keep you in the Premier League, I think you've got a problem, you know. So I know quite a lot of Newcastle fans liked him, but I watched him live probably about 12 to 13 times in the stadium, and I was just like, I think I can make it if this guy's playing professional football. So he's not one for me. I'm not a big fan of him. And when you've got the likes of him trying to keep you in the Premier League, it's not a good sign for me. But I like Scott Parker. I like young managers. It's good to see like ex-players. But I think 18th is about right, and it wouldn't surprise me if they went down.
I didn't like the way how the way we play against them last.
Yeah. Do you know what it is? I think I was on Matters with you, wasn't I? For that game, yeah. That was the one Martin and Darren done, wasn't it? Yeah, done a great job as well. I'll have them though. But I think that was when Steve was away, wasn't it? Because I was messaging Martin, and he asked me if I want to drop in as well. So which was quite nice to be back on the platform. But I was overly surprised how good they were against Newcastle, but in the nicest possible way. And I know there's some Newcastle people watching, because I've seen the comments and the names. It didn't surprise me against Newcastle. Like, Newcastle give teams far too much of the ball. And Fulham looked like, I know we mentioned Barcelona from our team's badge earlier, but they looked like Barcelona when they were playing Newcastle, and to 10 men. And I remember your post-match comment, Alwaleed, you said you're glad with a point, didn't you? And I was a bit like, whoa, as if I can't believe he's just said that. But I do watch Newcastle as well, so I'm seeing the same frailties as you're seeing, and we'll get to Newcastle later anyway. But yeah, it's just one of them with Fulham. They're going to do well to stay in the league, and if they do, it's a great achievement, you know.
Okay, Brighton 17th. I believe Newcastle lost their game.
Yeah, it
against,
was beginning of the season.
yeah, against Brighton.
I do like Brighton actually.
Yeah, they not bad results. 3 draws at the row,
Yeah.
and we lose one different goal against Arsenal, and they play tomorrow against Wolverhampton.
Yeah, they got beat by Arsenal, which is always a worry at the moment because Arsenal are not a very good team at the moment. But too many draws for Brighton. Too many draws. So I really like Graham Potter as well. I've studied his career as a manager. He managed in Sweden. Very good manager. I quite like him, and it's good to see him getting the opportunity in England as well. And I think he's got a very good team there. Very good young. They absolutely battered us when we played them, and we won somehow. I still don't know how we won that game. But they've got some very good European players mixed with some solid English players like Lewis Dunk, who's Lewis Dunk. They've got Ben White. So they've got a really good mix of English players as well. Sully March is another one. And they've got some really good continental players as well. I think they've got a player from Iran as well. Iran or Iraq, I think he comes from. I'm pretty sure it's Iran. Very talented player. Used to play in Holland. I think he plays for AZ Alkmaar. I could be wrong, but it's one of them teams. And he's a very good player, but I don't really feel like their league position justifies the way that they play, really. But I really like Basuma as well. Very good player, very good defensive midfielder. But they've got some quality players. I like Grob. I like Proper. Very good football players. But I feel like he goes for a Pacific player. And they've got a young boy from Chelsea as well that they bought from Chelsea. His name loses me at the moment, but he's a really good player. It might come back to me in a minute, but yeah, I don't really feel they're not gonna have any problem. Yeah, the number 16, that's who I was on about. He's from Iran, I think he is, isn't he? That Jahan Bashir.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah, he is from there. Yeah, but, and McAllister's a good player as well, Brazilian. I think they'll be all right, Brighton.
Yeah, I think you're on.
For me, I like Moby.
Mopay. Good player. He's he gets in the face.
He's very annoying. I think he must have something in the game. Either a goal, red card, break someone. He have to do something.
Yeah, he's like when you sit down with a beer, isn't he, on outside when the sun's out and that wasp comes and keeps going over your beer and you try and slap it, but it keeps coming back. You know, he's like one of them. But yeah, I quite like him as well. Actually, he's a pain in the backside, but he's a good player. He can score a goal as well.
Okay, from Brighton to Burnley. Yeah, Burnley better than Brighton. We are talking about 3 points.
And finished 10 last season.
Yeah, comparing to last season. Yeah.
Yeah, the coach is Sean.
Sean Dyche.
Yeah. You like him? You like his style to play?
Yeah, I think he's a quite good manager, to be honest. I think they're a very well organized team. They're hard to break down. They're like a workman-like team. Then they've not got any pretty football players, but they've got some quality in the right areas, and I think they'll stay up as well. I don't think they'll go down. He's too good of a manager for them to go down. They're very well organised. They've picked up some good results recently as well. Wolverhampton is a tough game. They got beat by Leeds and then they beat Sheffield United, who we've discussed already, and struggling a little bit. They got a draw with Aston Villa, and Aston Villa give us a very tough game tonight. They're a good team. So I do like Sean Dyche. They've got Fulham tomorrow as well, which will be a big game for them. Quite fancy them to beat Fulham, to be fair, but they play a rigid 4-4-2. They've got 2 target men up front. They look to get the ball in early from the wide positions into the targeted strikers, who are usually quite well good with the head. So they play a very direct style of football, but it's a very pragmatic style. I feel like if Sean Dyche was in charge of a lot of teams, they would play the same way. So I quite like him as a manager. Actually, I think he's quite underrated. But he'll never get the props he deserves because he's a manager of Burnley and not a manager of Arsenal or something like that. So no one will ever talk about him. But for anybody that watches the Premier League, and I know you lads do, you'll understand he's a quite pragmatic manager. He does probably quite well under the radar because he won't ever come in the Europa League positions. But he might get sort of mid-table, but no one will ever mention that. It will just be like, oh, well done, you got mid-table. But he works off of one of the lowest budgets in the league. So the reason why he goes out and buys championship players is because he doesn't get given the money. So and I think they've just been taken over, actually. I think they've... I think...
AL Capital, American Group, I think they are about to finish their own takeover.
Yeah, which has caused a bit of a stir with the Newcastle takeover, but I'm sure we'll get onto that one when we get to Newcastle.
Yeah, hopefully. Okay, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace has the same point like Newcastle, but Newcastle has one more game. On the 15th, Crystal Palace. What do you think about Crystal Palace? I think it's a good team.
Yeah, they've got some very good players. Wilfried Zaha. What's their results? They got, goodness me, they got hammered by Liverpool. I forgot about that. Aston Villa beat them 3-0. Yeah, they're not as good as Aston Villa. Good result against Leicester though. Leicester are a good team. That Liverpool game's not good looking, is it, for a Crystal Palace fan?
Yeah, Roy Hodgson was feeling very bad about this game. He said, "I'm shameful of this game, this result."
I can agree with him as well. That's a really bad result. But what you see is what you get with Hodgson, isn't it? He's quite old school. He's got a fantastic CV. Like some of the places he's managed in Portugal as well, and he's got some really good proven Premier League players. You look at Nathan Clyne. You look at the whole back four, bar Mitchell, Premier League regulars. Guaita, the goalkeeper, I think. Don't quote me on this, but I think he was before he signed for them. And you've got Townsend, who was a fan favourite when he was at the Toon. Good player, good Premier League player. Benteke, he's probably past his best now, but can still get a goal. And then you've got Wilfried Zaha, who's a very talented player who my club let go very stupidly for far too cheaply because we could have been a bit more patient with him. But I like Milinkovic as well, centre midfielder, very tough, strong player, and Riederwald's a good player as well, come from the Ajax academy. So they've got some really good players, but they're struggling a little bit at the moment. They're another team that probably need to go into the market for a goal scorer, and they'll be all right. I'm expecting Roy to keep them up.
Zaha, I think I read he linked to AC Milan in summer.
He's linked to AC Milan.
AC Milan, and I think Zaha, he was in Manchester United, and I think he have problem with David Moyes back then, something personal.
Yeah, there's a story about that, but I won't go into it. You probably know what it is. Yeah. He had all the talent in the world, but it didn't quite work out for him at Man United. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Okay. But he's a really great player.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player. Yeah, he should be playing at a bigger club than Crystal Palace, and that's not being disrespectful to Crystal Palace fans. It's just a fact. Everybody knows that. But I do think he'll get his move eventually. He's been linked with Tottenham for a couple of seasons. I think Arsenal were interested in him, but I don't think Arsenal can afford him, to be honest with you. And we need a right winger, and Zaha could play on our right wing, but we won't go and sign him because of all the trouble that he had before. But fantastic player. One of the best players to watch, probably, on the eye in the Premier League. And I like watching games. I'll probably get onto it a bit when we talk about Newcastle. Actually, I'll wait and I'll explain it when we get to Newcastle, because Newcastle are next, yeah? Yeah, Newcastle are next. I'm just going to get a drink of water, so I apologise.
That's okay. Yeah, for Newcastle, we will skip it for now.
No,
We will do it now.
yeah,
Okay.
because but we need the break.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you need the break?
No, I
Jimmy?
don't need a break. I just needed a bit of water. That's it. We'll do
Okay.
Newcastle. We'll do Newcastle and Man United at the end, will we?
Event.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you want to, I can do it now, or we can do it whenever. It's your show, guys. I'll do what you say.
So your call, guys. For me, I don't know. What do you think? We should. Make
Hell can
it
do it. What do you want to do? Well, we're gonna talk a bit more in detail about Newcastle and Man U. Yeah, so maybe we'll do it at the end.
Leave it at the end, better, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's skip Newcastle now.
See now, even Steve Bruce. See why? Because of you.
Skip it.
All right.
You've upset him.
Was I 13?
Yeah, Arsenal. Arsenal is supposed to be one of the top 6.
Oh, I'm gonna look forward to this.
Yeah.
We forget the
Yeah. Yeah, Arsenal is one of the top 6. They have 20 points. So if Newcastle win, I think he will be the 13th. Yeah, because Newcastle has one more game. Yeah, what do you think about Arsenal and Arteta?
Just a bit off topic a minute, Alwaleed, but I don't know if you've seen Rich's comment saying, go into the Zaha Moyes story, Jamie. No, definitely not.
Well, at the end, maybe we'll get back to that.
Arsenal 13th in the table, goodness me. And people are trying to tell me that Arteta's doing a good job. Come on.
Yeah, he was at the end of the season, last season.
Yeah, he done all right, but the thing is, without going into it too much and bringing Man United in, because I'll wait until later, everybody judges Solskjaer for not doing well. Everybody judges Lampard for not doing well, but yeah, they're 13th in the table, and nobody questions Arteta. No, it's just the process. It's all right, he's doing well. Just give him time. Well, but what about Ollie's time, you know? So, yeah, they just annoy me. They think they're better than what they are, Arsenal. I hope no Arsenal fans are watching, because don't judge me, but they're not my favourite team. But going back to their season so far, they've obviously had quite a lot of inconsistencies with results, and they can't score goals. And the problem as to why they can't score goals is because they can't create goals. But then their brilliant manager has left out Mesut Ozil from the team, who's their most creative player in the whole squad. So if you're going to leave a player of that quality out, don't expect to score a lot of goals. And they've got some very good players, but I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure Arteta's the right man for the job. But Arsenal fans might tell me I'm talking rubbish, and if they want to tell me that, then that's absolutely fine. But I'll go against my knowledge to their knowledge. But they're Arsenal fans. I know some Arsenal fans. My cousin's an Arsenal fan, and he tells me that Arteta's the right man. So I like to remind him that the run of results they went without a win proves differently. But they seem to be getting a little bit of form now, and he seems to have taken out the big players, and he's playing the kids. And the kids seem better than the big players. So maybe that's the way to go for Arsenal, but I think they're in a bit of a transition.
What do you think the secret is behind their support to Arteta once they don't have a good result?
FA Cup, maybe.
To be honest with you, I think this might be a bit controversial if Arsenal fans listening. I don't think they're as big as they think they are anymore. I think the board have understood that they're probably in a bit of a transitional period. They don't have as much money as the other clubs to spend. They're not attracting the big players anymore. And they're trying to go in a different route. And to a certain extent, maybe it'll work, you know? They're trying to bring in younger players, develop players from their academy and try and keep hold of their bigger players, but they don't have a lot of quality in their team. They've got individual players, but if you watch Arsenal play, from when I was younger, I used to hate Arsenal because they were brilliant. Now I love them because they're not very good. You know, so when they had like Henry, Vieira, like Perez, Lundberg, like they were unbelievable, and you just knew they were going to win. They were like Liverpool of, you know, you just knew they'd go 1-0 behind, and they would win 2-1.
And they create their fan base around the world because of this team.
Yeah, 100%. Like when you've got players like, I think Henry is probably the best striker I've ever seen play in the Premier League. Now I know that I'll get pelters from Newcastle fans saying Shearer, which that's fine. I appreciate Alan Shearer as well, but I think Henry just as a player was absolutely amazing. I used to watch him and think, I wish you played for Man United because you are unbelievable. And there's only certain players that I think like that, and he was one of them. But they just had born leaders. And after Spain won the World Cup and they were playing what we were speaking about earlier, the tiki-taka. Before people were playing tiki-taka, they were playing it. Barcelona were playing it. Around the time we played Barcelona in the Champions League, they were just unbelievable, and they beat us in the final in Rome. I was at the game, and amazing. And it's the first time I've ever watched the final with my team and just thought, we can't beat these. These are too good. Like, it's impossible. They were absolutely amazing. They obviously went on and beat us that night, and I was a bit disappointed and had a couple of more drinks than I should have probably. But they're a fantastic team over the years, and I feel like they've got a lot of rebuilding to get to that level. And but they've got some very good players. They're picking up some good results, so maybe they are going to keep with Arteta. And if they are, fair play to them because they obviously believe in him.
Yeah. Some gossiping regarding January Mercato. As you said, they can't create goals.
Yeah.
So they are looking now for a playmaker, and they're thinking of Isco from Real Madrid to borrow him as a loan for 6 months. And they may be waiting for Socrates, Kulishink, Saliba to go. Ozil as also he will go and join.
I quite like Isco, but I don't think he's. I think a couple of years ago he was probably in the bracket of the top 3 to top 5 best attacking midfielders in the world. I watch quite a lot of Spanish football as well, not necessarily recently, but and I noticed he had so much ability, but he doesn't seem to be able to get a game in the Real Madrid team. So he's very inconsistent. And do you know the thing that stands out for me from a player from Real Madrid? If you're a player from Real Madrid and you've got a big reputation in Europe for being a top quality football player, which Isco has, why can't he get a game for Real Madrid? So if they're going to loan him out, that says something to me. It's like a lot of people were saying about James Rodriguez at Everton. Fantastic player. No doubt. Great player. Love watching him. Fantastic. But why is he going to Everton? You know? Why is he going to Everton when he's at the top of the tree? He was on loan at Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich, in my opinion, are the best team in the world. So that's the thing. Like, I get players want to play football, but why would they want to come to a 13th place team to play football? Why can't he play at his club? It's like Ceballos. He's on loan from Real Madrid. Arsenal fans loved him last season. Absolutely buzzing to get him back on loan this season, and he can't get in the team. So it's like, well, there you go. There's your answer. So it's I'm not too sure that he's the right caliber of player, although he does have very similar traits to Ozil. So maybe it would be a good move. Who knows?
Okay. Close. Yeah, Wolverhampton.
Portugal FC.
Yeah. I think they're doing well. What do you think?
Yeah. I think they're a very good team. I think they're a very well organized team. We had a very tough game against them the other day as well, which I watched, and I was really impressed with them. Not that I like to admit it because they were playing my team, but this was the team they put up against us. Yeah, they Hoover, who was at Hover, I think his name is. They bought him from Liverpool and they sold Jota to them. This Nori boy, number 3. He is on loan from a team in France that were in Division 2 last year, but he had some of the best statistics for that league and in Europe for completed passes and crosses in the French Division 2 last year. Apparently he's a very good player, and he did look very good against Man United as well. But on the Athletic, when they look at players' stats and how they're contributing to their club, he was kind of in sort of searches when you were looking for accurate pass completion, beating players, tackle interceptions. He was coming up with a lot of really good scores. So he's obviously a very good player. But Neto, fantastic player, was really good at Braga. Seen him coming up through Braga's youth academy. Very, very good player. I think he can play at a better team than Wolves now. Vitinha is on loan from Porto. Very good young player. Didn't play that great against Man United the other day, but definitely a quality player. Typical Portuguese centre attacking midfield player. Very skillful on the ball, can find the pass. And I think the issue with Wolves, in a nutshell, is they sold their arguably their second best player, and their first best player has got a serious head injury. So I feel like they're struggling, and they bought in a young boy from Porto called Fabio Silva, who's got a reputation, and everybody kind of in Portugal, they have a tendency of thinking players are a lot better than they are before they've developed, and it's happened with him as well. And they were saying that Fabio Silva is going to be the next João Felix. He isn't. He's nowhere near as good as him, and he won't ever be as good as him. João Felix is a generational talent from Portugal. He's a fantastic, fantastic football player that's playing at the top level. Wolves have brought this boy in on the cheap. And just to delve into my Portuguese knowledge a little minute, Porto had a lot of financial struggles and they needed to get rid of players. So did Sporting Lisbon. Benfica are the powerhouse when it comes to finances in Portugal, and Wolves signed Fabio Silva on the cheap. He was probably worth a little bit more than what they paid for him. I think it was around £5 to £6 million they paid for him. I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that one, but I think it was around that, because my friend was telling me when they signed him, I said, how do you think he'll get on in the Premier League? And he was like, he ain't ready yet, Jamie, but he's a very good player for how much they paid for him. But he'll take time. But I think he's only like 18 years old. But if they still had Jota and they still had Jimenez playing up front, they would be a different team. But they have to try and change the style of play they're playing now, because they don't have that big target man to link up their play with their midfielders, because they play quite a rigid midfield with Neves and Moutinho. Very good football players, but they don't really have a lot of pace. So they use the ball wisely to get it in the wing positions. But they've got some very good players. Adama Traore, which I'm sure you've watched him against Newcastle the both years, very, very strong player. And then they've got the trio of Portuguese players, Neto. They've got Silva, who I spoke about. They've got Pedence as well. Daniel Pedence, another good player, come from the Sporting Youth Academy. They signed him from Olympiacos. So they seem to be going for a certain type of player, and they seem to be very good at it. So their recruitment policy is very good when it comes to the Portuguese league, with their manager obviously being Portuguese. But I think they've got ties with a couple of super agents that work in the Portuguese league. So they seem to be recruiting very well from that league and doing very well. But they've got some players in their team like Conor Cody, who's a quality English player that understands the Premier League. So it's a good mix.
Okay. And the team the weirdest team who win 5-0, who lose by 6. United. Wilsa, he's angry from the media because they're blaming his style of play, and he said, I want all the team, I encourage them to play the same way we play, to bring the beautiful game back on.
It makes me laugh that he's getting criticism in England, because it's just the English league for you. Because he played exactly the same way at Atletico Bilbao, and he played exactly the same way at Lille as well, and he done very well for them. They came to Old Trafford to play us when he was at Atletico Bilbao, and they were absolutely fantastic. And I was actually at the game, and I was like, who is it? Like, where did this team come from? Like, I thought the only good teams in Spain were Barcelona and Real Madrid. And then this team turned up and played us off the park. And funnily enough, one of their best players on the night was Ander Herrera, and he obviously ended up coming to Man United. So that was good, because I obviously watched him live when we were linked with him and thought, yeah, we're signing a good player here. And I did like Ander Herrera. I was a bit gutted when he left, actually. But when PSG offer you all them millions of pounds wages, you can't say no, can you? So, but yeah, it's just the English league criticising them. They're so good to watch, ain't they? Like, they're just so entertaining. It's like, even against us, we were like 4-1 ahead, and I was like, we're not even safe here. Like, these can score 4 goals in 5 minutes just because of the way they play. And they've got some very good players as well. They've got Ralfinha, I think is how you pronounce it, number 18. He signed from Rennes, but he was at Sporting Lisbon, so I've seen quite a lot of him. And very good player. He looks like the finished article now. He was a bit raw when he was at Sporting. They got rid of him for quite a cheap price to Rennes, but he went to France, done well. Rodrigo is a very good striker. Seen him a lot at Benfica when he was younger, and then he's gone on to do well at Valencia. Harrison is at Man City. He's on loan at Leeds. Kelvin Phillips, quality defensive midfielder. They've got a really good team. They have like that. They've got a couple. They need a little bit more quality in the centre back position, but do you know what it is? And traditionally as well, like Man U don't like Leeds. But like, it's one of them, like, you're like, do you know what? How can you not enjoy watching them? But I can't say it because I'll get slated by the Man U fans. You don't like Leeds, we hate Leeds. And I'm like, yeah, but I quite enjoy watching Leeds. You know?
I'm wondering why, because I read a statement from Solskjaer, we're waiting so long for Leeds.
It's just a massive rivalry. It's because they were... When Arsenal and that were sort of quite a dominant team, like, so were Leeds. Leeds were a good team. They had David Batty, who was a great player at Newcastle as well, fantastic. I know he made quite a lot of the lads as team of the week, team of the decades that I was watching on Steve's platform. But great player, Alan Smith, Harry Kewell. Oh, yeah. They had so many good players, you know. And I used to love Alan Smith as a young striker, to like tackling strong as well when I played, and I thought, I'm going to be Alan Smith. I'm going to go like, and I liked him. He ended up coming to Man U, and he went to Newcastle, but we'll not speak about that because he didn't do very well when he was there. But just the rivalry between Man United and Leeds, because it's so close, Manchester and Leeds, it's like a big rivalry. Like, we really don't like each other, and it was so satisfying to absolutely hammer them the other day. But I was having a conversation with my friend actually from back home, and he's a Leeds fan. And he messaged me straight after because he messaged me so I couldn't message him. You know, it's one of them. Because my team has just absolutely whacked his team, he'll send a nice message so I'm nice to him instead of saying, we just beat you. So he messaged me and he thought, what did you think of the game? And I was like, I'm absolutely delighted with the result. I was like, we absolutely battered us, and finally we scored more than a couple of goals, because Man U create chances, but they don't take them. So it was nice to score a lot of goals. But I said to him, I'm not even going to banter you that much, mate, because your team is very, very exciting to watch. I hate to admit it, but I actually like watching them. And as I say, even when we were 5-10 minutes to go in the game, they were still pressing and pressing and pressing. And I was like, these guys have changed batteries at half time and put some new ones in, and they're going again, because it's just one of them. But I'm not too sure what I think he's called something like Bielsa's called something like El Loco or something like that. He's got a nickname, something like that. Anyway, and you don't play defensive football when you're called El Loco or something, do you? You know, you just don't. So he's one of the best managers in the world, you know, like he's absolutely, his style of play. And the thing is, I've watched documentaries on him as well, and he's got a specific style of play. And I just like him, but I kind of don't like to admit that I like them, if that makes sense.
Okay, Leeds have 23 points, while Leicester in the third position have 29. Between these positions, the difference is 6 points.
Yeah.
And number 10th position is West Ham.
And from 10 to 5th, same point.
Same point, yeah.
26 points.
So close, ain't it?
Yeah, some teams play more than other teams, but all of them, they have the same points.
And
from
we have
10th to the 5th.
Yeah, West Ham, Southampton, Man City, Tottenham, Chelsea, Aston Villa. So West Ham first.
West Ham.
Moyes. That's Moyes, our friend.
David Moyes. Yeah. What's their past results been, Alwaleed? Because I haven't seen too many of their results recently.
No, they play 16, win 6, draw 5, lose 5, 23 points. But they win today, I think, against.
Yeah, they beat Everton. Yeah,
the result here.
Yeah.
Draw.
Got beat by Chelsea. Yeah, they've not been great, have they? But he seems to be doing a good job there. I think he's bought quite well, and he's brought a little bit of stability to West Ham, because West Ham are a funny club. Their fans expect them to be a lot better than what they are, to a certain extent, without being disrespectful. They've got a beautiful stadium. I went to a concert there with my dad, and it's a beautiful, beautiful stadium. They've got some really good international players. Yarmolenko, very good player.
Yeah.
But they're a funny club. I think they're probably overachieving, but they won't go down. No chance. I really like Declan Rice as well. I wouldn't mind him at Man United.
I enjoy the game against Tottenham, the 3-3 draw.
Yeah, when Lanzini scored a belter in the last minute. They've got great fans as well. They've got absolutely great fans, but it's always nice when you see them blowing their bubbles at the start of the game, and then one of their players falls over because of the bubbles. That's quite good. But
okay, number 9th position, Southampton.
I really, really like Southampton's manager.
Yeah, I do. I think it's a good team.
I'm not too sure how to pronounce his name, but I do like him. Ralph Husenhartel, I think is how you pronounce it. Maybe that's wrong, but that's my pronunciation anyway. Good team. I like them. They're a well-run club. They buy very well. They buy a specific type of player. Their academy is fantastic. They buy quite young players. Their number 12 on that picture absolutely terrorized Man United when he played against player. And then they've got a really good balance. They've got some really good experience. They've got a young boy at right back from Tottenham. They signed him from Tottenham. He's only a young lad, but Bedinak is a Polish international. Very good player. I think Stevenson plays for Ireland as well. And then they've got experienced left back as well with Bertrand. And then they've got the likes of Theo Wilcott that brings that sort of Premier League experience in. Ward-Prowse, free kick expert. Romelu come through Barcelona's La Masia. So they've got really good, and their strikers are very good as well, and they complement each other well, because Adams is a Rondon type striker, should we say, based on Newcastle, because I know you follow Newcastle as well. He can hold the ball up well. He brings players into play like Rondon did when he was at the Toon, and you've got Danny Ings who can score from a half chance. So they've got a very good team, and they've got a really good goalkeeper as well. Very, very good goalkeeper.
Walcott, I read any media talking about that Walcott rediscover himself in Southampton.
Yeah, Rich is right as well. In comments, they really have missed Danny Ings. Very, very good striker. I wouldn't mind Danny Ings at Man United. I think Man United's biggest problem is scoring goals sometimes, and he knows how to find the back of the net. Although he did play for Liverpool, so that's a bit controversial.
All right, king of the ball position.
Yeah, I think this is your best team, Jammie. Huh?
Hey, we're getting on all right so far. Don't ruin it.
Blow, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd just like to point out, this isn't a Man City jacket.
Okay, yeah, I do think they're doing bad because they're playing 14 games. So if they win the other 2 games, yeah, they got 32.
And for Mercato, they said the gossiping, they are looking for wing. His name is Philip Stevenic from Partizan, I think Belgrade.
Yeah, young player. He was supposed to be coming to Man U, but we're not going for him now. But apparently he's very good. Yeah.
But they said no. Usually Manchester City doesn't bring players in January in winter mercato. Last one, Laporta sorry, Laporte. Laporte
Emerick Laporte, yeah.
He's from 3 years ago. I think they are saving money for Messi.
Yeah, I think you're probably right, to be honest. But I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal then, right? This is the deal that I've got for you. If you just want me to try and say nice things about Man City, then I want you to say nice things about Sunderland. I'll try my best to be as diplomatic with Man City as I can. Not all right manager, I suppose. He's all right. He's done all right. Nah, I'm joking. He's a very good manager. I think you might be right about Messi. You know, I do. Although he did come out and say he owes his life to Barcelona, I think so. Maybe, I don't know. But what you see is what you get with Guardiola. For the amount of money that he spent, they should be doing better than they are.
Yeah, I agree with it.
But I can't talk. My team has spent a fortune as well. So if you look at their team, I mean, it's just absolute quality.
It's the most expensive team in the Premier League.
Yeah, and two of their players come from the Benfica academy. Cancelo, he was from Benfica, and then he moved to Valencia. The left back, and Ruben Diaz, number 3. He come from Benfica's academy as well. Very good players. They've got a very good team. Edison come from Benfica as well. He's obviously Brazilian, but he come through the Benfica academy. So there's a little Portuguese link there for you. But yeah, Bernardo Silva obviously come from Benfica's academy as well. So this is practically Benfica's team, under 11s team that these have got now that they've bought from from teams. But a lot of Portuguese players in Man City's team. But yeah, very, very, very good team. They should be doing a lot better than what they are. I think they're not underachieving because they're not playing very good at the moment. But they shouldn't be where.
Do you believe they could win the Premier League this season?
Manchester City?
Yeah.
No, not for me. I know it's very tight, but they're too inconsistent. But the thing is, so's the whole league. So nobody seems to be going on a massive run. Massively missing Sergio Aguero, what Rich has just mentioned there in the comments. They've just got quality all over the pitch, but for some reason it's just not clicking. So they have got the money. They've more than got the money if they need to go in and invest in players. But I think to a certain extent they've changed the way they recruit now. They're not throwing massive money at players anymore. They're not doing the Robinho moves anymore. They're trying to buy a certain strategical player that fits into Guardiola's system. And fair play to them, it works. They play great football, but they shouldn't be where they are in the league. If I was a Manchester City fan, and thank God I'm not, but if I was, my dad would disown me. If I was a Man City fan at the moment, in all seriousness, I would be very disappointed with being in that position. You know, they're a lot better than that. They should be where we are, and that hurts me to say that. Because we're joint top of the league now. I don't know if you know that, but obviously we just won earlier. So
we're coming for that.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Don't worry when we get to Man U. But yeah, disappointing. What do you think about City? Because I'm presuming you watch City quite a lot. What's your views on them?
For me, I think Guardiola, he's very I need solid head. He's like doesn't
stick with his opinion.
Doesn't focus on defense. Like just focus on ball position. Ball position. I think this is make the players tired, get more injuries, get more tackled, exhausted with style for play. We notice, especially in the Champions League. I think this is the key for the answer. Champions League. We noticed that he gets beat when he was the Premier League champion. He faced Liverpool, he faced Tottenham in I think semi-final or quarter-final, and he get out. I think this is make pressure on him. He still doesn't built the right lineup. They have the chemistry. It's not that strong chemistry. I just see he's now depending on Raheem, Sterling, De Bruyne. I love De Bruyne. He's a very great player, but I believe the style of play, as I said, is very exhausted, make you tired and get a lot of injuries.
And I believe the target of the management of City is the Champions League now. Yeah, they want it so much, so hard.
Yeah, I think so as well. And Manchester City are in the position where they can go and probably get any manager they want. So if they don't want Guardiola long term, they'll get rid of him. But I feel like they've got a certain type of squad now that is very capable of playing the way he wants to play. But they've lost too many critical players and they haven't replaced them with the same type of quality, like David Silva, like Kompany. Like, people didn't understand how important Kompany was for that team. Like, he was Man City, you know? Like, he was the one that put his chest out, his head high, and said, I'm going to tell you when you're not pulling your finger out on the pitch, I'm going to tell you, and you're going to do it. Or if not, you're going to be off. He was practically the manager on the pitch. And then you had Guardiola on the sidelines. And I feel like they lost him massively. Yeah, he was such a good player. Like, he was like a Roy Keane to Man United back in the day, like a Shearer to Newcastle. If you weren't doing your job, he was going to tell you. And I think losing David Silva, he's an absolute magician. He's probably one of my favourite players I've ever watched in the Premier League. Absolutely phenomenal. When he first come to England, no one knew how to play against him. He was amazing. And it's a sad to see him go, although it's a good thing from a Man United fan's point of view because he's a fantastic player. But they're missing Aguero. They don't have that big personality in the team now. And I think that's why they're struggling. And I don't think they're going to win the Champions League again. Well, I hope they don't win the Champions League. But I don't think they've got the quality. There's too many good teams like Bayern Munich, Liverpool. They're ahead of Man City at the moment. But I think you're right, El, in what you're saying. They're obsessed with the Premier League, the Champions League. The board are obsessed with it. But when you've spent a combined £300 million on fullbacks, I would expect to be winning the Champions League as well. So maybe Pep's underachieving. You know, maybe he's underachieving a little bit. Maybe he's got a fantastic team there. And he's not delivering. For me, they should be challenging for the Premier League title against Manchester City, against Man United, and Liverpool. Like, they should be up there with Tottenham, with Liverpool, with Man U. And at the moment, they're a bit inconsistent. So maybe there's a bit of pressure on him. I know he's just signed a new contract, but who knows? It wouldn't surprise me.
What do you think of transfer? The last transfer they got, Eki, the defensive from Bournemouth.
Nathan Ake.
Yeah. What do you think about him? He worth 30 million.
Yeah, he was. They signed him and they signed Ferran Torres from Valencia for 25 million as well. Very good deal. Good price. They're not paying big money anymore. They're trying to be a bit more wiser. And I feel like a lot of clubs are doing that, particularly mine. But I won't say too much about Man U because I know I'm going to talk about them. But I think you can get silly prices like Joe Linton, like, you know, like that's just absolutely crazy. I'll come on to him a bit later, but like, you can't be doing deals like that. So I feel like Man City have watched the market for a couple of years and thought, nah, like, teams know we've got money. Like, we can't play their game no more. We can't pay £80 million for a player that's worth 35. So we're going to have to do things a bit differently. And maybe, to a certain extent, they have bought well, as in value-wise. They haven't been laughed at, whereas Man U have sometimes. So, I don't know. Maybe they're doing things a little bit differently, but because they've had to change the way they're doing things, maybe they just don't have the quality in certain areas anymore. But in my opinion, you don't lose Kompany, you don't lose David Silva, and not bring that type of caliber player in. And the thing is, I feel like this is the Man City show. Enjoying this. But when you lose Kompany and when you lose David Silva, you lose their ability as a football player, but you also lose the person. And that's a big personality to fill the boots of. It happened at Man U with Roy Keane. It happened at Newcastle with Shearer. It happened at Arsenal when Vieira left. These are big characters. They're not just good footballers, they're leaders. And it's too much quality to lose and not replace. And they've tried to replace them, but like you said earlier, Alwaleed, they're looking too much on Sterling, on De Bruyne, and maybe it's just a bit too much pressure for them, but they definitely have the quality. There's no doubt about that. They have a fantastic team, and I'm expecting them to start getting up the table a bit more. They won't be in that position at the end of the season. If we finish above Manchester City, Man United, I'm talking about, we'll have a good season because they're going to get better. They're not going to, but yeah, I think I've given them enough praise, so maybe we'll
We'll see. All right, now with the three Premier League team. Oh, Premier League favorite manager.
Yeah,
Jose.
that's the one. Yeah,
That's special one.
yeah. Our friend Martin really love Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, he does like Mourinho, Martin, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah. Tottenham in 7th position. The same thing. They have 26 points. I think they are doing well this season.
Yeah, very good team.
They want to bring. The rumors said, gossiping said, they're looking for centre back and defensive midfielder, and they want Danny Rose, Dele Alli to go. Find a deal for them to go to leave.
Yeah.
How's Tottenham this season?
I think when it comes to Danny Rose, I think he had a good opportunity when he came to Newcastle and he didn't take it. I thought he was a little bit overweight when he was at Newcastle.
Exactly.
And yeah. I don't like to talk about players' weight because it's not nice, but I do think he was a bit overweight at Newcastle, and he had a very good opportunity to come to Newcastle. And if he was the Danny Rose that was 4 years ago, Newcastle fans would have loved him because he was really attacking. And obviously now they've went with Jamal Lewis, who I think is a good player, but we'll talk about Newcastle a bit later. And Tom has put a comment in there as well. As Tom was watching, do you think Pogba will leave? So I'm going to speak about Man United towards the end of the show with Alwaleed and El. So I'll touch on that, Tom, if you're still with us. I know it's a bit late, but hopefully you're still with us. And I'll talk about that then. But we'll talk about Mr. Pogba, don't worry. But
the question will answer it also later.
The Tottenham in general, they've got a fantastic team. I think Mourinho's putting his stamp on the team. He's brought players in like Doherty, like he plays players like Ben Davis, who I think Reguilon's a better defender than Ben Davis, but Ben Davis is a solid Premier League player. They have a lot of quality in attacking areas. They just seem to have fell off the horse a little bit. They seemed like they were going all guns blazing for a title race, and they just seem to have fallen off the track a little bit. They absolutely hammered us at Old Trafford. Don't really want to talk about that because that wasn't a very nice day for a Man United fan, but they battered us when they played us. And I thought to myself, these are going to go on here and really progress, but when you've got Harry Kane in your team, when you've got players like Ndombele, like you're going to win games. You know, Harry Kane he's a modern day Alan Shearer, and don't hate on me for people in the comments. I know he's not as good as Shearer, but he's that type of goal scorer. You know, he doesn't need a chance; he needs a half chance, and it's a goal. So he does remind me of Alan Shearer, and I think Alan Shearer has actually said that himself as well. He just scores goals for fun. So they're going to be there or thereabouts. They're another team that just because they've dropped points recently, it doesn't mean they're going to stay like that. They're going to be up there as well, you know, with the Liverpools, with the Man Uniteds, with the Manchester Cities. They'll be there or thereabouts. Jose's a good manager. Didn't work out at Man United for whatever reason. But you look at his CV, Porto, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, he's won trophies everywhere. So fantastic manager. I think they've got the infrastructure team in the coming years because they're starting to spend money. and they've got a really good core group now for Mourinho to maybe go and buy specific players. And I know you did say there that they're going for a centre-back. They just signed a centre-back from Swansea, a young boy called Roden, like Joe Roden, Welsh international player. So I don't know why they're looking for a centre-back. Maybe they want a bit more of an experienced centre-back. But I don't understand what's going on with Dele Alli. Fantastic player, but maybe he's just not got the right attitude. All the ability in the world, but I thought he was going to go on and have a fantastic career. Don't know what's happened with him. I've seen he's linked to PSG, so maybe he'll go to the French league and score a couple of goals and get paid quite a lot of money. I don't know what's going on with him, but Mourinho doesn't seem to like him.
Usually Mourinho, any club he go with, always fire a player. Just to show the people who is the boss.
Maybe that
he did this without
maybe,
I think even in Real Madrid, Casillas, everybody find a reason. And
maybe that's why Martin likes him, because maybe he's hoping he's going to come in and take Shelvey out of the team.
And I think lately he depends on Son, the Korean player. I think for me he's in the top 5 player in the world now. He's a game changer. I think he's the one he winning the games for the difficult games for Tottenham. If he's away, if he's not in his good shape and performance, usually they not get the result.
Yeah, I'm expecting Tottenham to push on. I think Mourinho's creating a really good work ethic more than anything in that Tottenham team. Mourinho teams need to work hard, you know. And like I mentioned earlier, when you've got the likes of, I think he's an absolutely fantastic player. Like, he's a world-class player. He could probably play for a better club than Tottenham, and that's not even being disrespectful to Tottenham because they are a big club in England now. But he's a very special player. He's a Galactico player, you know. Some of the goals he scores, some of the pace he's got, he's just absolutely fantastic. But they've got too much quality to sort of linger around Europa League. They finished in the Europa League this year, but I will be amazed if they don't get into the Champions League this year. They've got a really good quality team and a good manager. And Mourinho is like Marmite in England. You either love it or you hate it. So some people like him, some people don't.
Right.
Okay. Okay, there is a mistake. Aston Villa.
But I think the same point.
Yeah, because
I did this before the games.
Yeah, before the games. Okay, no problem.
So
that's okay. Yeah, we can talk about Chelsea and then we'll do Aston Villa. No problem.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, Chelsea is now in the 5th position. Same points like Aston Villa, 26. I think. In my opinion, Chelsea will be one of the top 4 this season.
They need to be with the amount of money they've spent.
Yeah.
225 million pounds.
I'll put this one to use too then, this one for Chelsea. What do you think of Chelsea? Because I know what I think, but I'm interested to know what you think of Chelsea, because in my opinion, they're underachieving, but I have a reason why they're underachieving, and I'll explain mine. But I'm just interested to hear what you think about Chelsea.
All right, for me, he just his second year as a coach.
Yeah,
and I think he have new players. Okay, there are too many names: Werner, Ben Chilwell. Yeah. And actually, I forget the names, but he got Ziyech. So many players new. I think the chemistry, he have to work with the chemistry, and I believe as well. Lambert remind me of kind of Klopp when he started with the Borussia Dortmund. He's just focused on how he's on the attack. Just keep attacking, not looking much for the defense.
Yeah,
it's just matter of experience. And they said they will not spend anything. Maybe this winter mercato, they just try to maybe Atletico. They ask for Alonso. That's all.
Oh yeah, I heard that he was going there actually. Yeah, I've seen a couple of tweets.
What do you think?
Maybe Lampard need to have a chance like Arteta.
Don't get me started on Arteta again, now, please. I see. Alwaleed, you seen the comment? Jamie kinds of supports Newcastle now. That's a funny comment. There's quite a lot of Man United questions coming in as well that people are asking. So I'm going to get to the Man United points. Don't worry, we're getting.
Yeah, we're coming.
I'm going to answer all the questions that you've got. So keep putting them, and I'll answer them. Yeah, Chelsea are a funny one because they've spent a lot of money, but I think you're absolutely. I agree with you totally. He's working with his eyes closed at the moment because he doesn't know what players are good at what, and they cost a lot of money. And they've had a bit of an issue with their goalkeeper as well. I don't think Mendy's the answer. I think he's probably a good squad player, and Kepa is just exactly what he says on the tin. He needs to go. He's not good enough for Chelsea. I wouldn't have bought Mendy. I would have went for a different goalkeeper. I would have went for an English goalkeeper. I would have went for the Burnley goalkeeper, Pope. I really, really like him. Really good goalkeeper, and Chelsea were linked with him as well. But I feel like at the moment, Lampard's he's learning on the job, as we say in England. He had one good season at Derby, and then all of a sudden he's now Chelsea manager, one of the biggest clubs in the country. He's given a massive checkbook when he's been working with peanuts at Derby. So now Abramovich has said you can go and sign a player for £100 million, no problem, when he was buying players for £2 million at Derby and loaning Chelsea players. So I think his first season at Chelsea was great when he sort of didn't bring any players in. He worked with the youth academy. Chelsea have a very good youth system, but they don't necessarily use it. Players like Mason Mount, Tomori, very good players. And then they've kind of done the typical Chelsea thing and gone and spent money when they were building a good platform already. So it's like putting cement and then more cement on top of the cement you've already laid. So the cement that they've put on top of the first base is a lot more expensive cement than the other one. So I think it's a time scale of with Lampard, he's got to be given time. I don't know whether he will be if it doesn't start improving, because if you can sack Mourinho, if you can sack Benitez, I know Benitez was an interim manager and Rafa was there. If you can sack Ancelotti, Mourinho again, you can sack Frank Lampard. You know, it doesn't. Roman Abramovich doesn't care that Lampard is a club legend. Anything to him if his team start losing. So he's got to start getting it right, and he is to a certain extent. But players like Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, they're the ones that are performing at the moment. Werner's, Kai Havertz cost £100 million, and just listen to this one a little minute and let me know what you think about this. Right, Kai Havertz cost £100 million. I don't think he's got any goals or assists for Chelsea yet. I could be wrong. Bruno Fernandes cost 45, and the top goal scorer in Europe, one of the top goal scorers in Europe for assists and goals. So, but Havertz, there he is. Thank you, Alwaleed. Appreciate that. Portuguese magnifico. But I think you're right. Like you've hit the nail on the head with Chelsea. It's going to take time. Ziyech is by the way, like I was pretty jealous that they got him. Moroccan international, come through the Ajax system, absolutely fantastic player. So I'm expecting him to come good. I've seen enough of him in the Champions League to say that he's going to be an amazing player for Chelsea. But when you buy players, it takes time. And do you know what it is as well? A lot of people are saying about Werner, who I think is a very, very good striker. I actually wanted Man U to sign him. I watched a lot of him at Leipzig. And I thought, yeah, he'd fit in perfectly with the way Man U play. He's went to Chelsea, but Chelsea have wrecked a couple of good strikers' careers before. Torres, Shevchenko, they didn't do very well at Chelsea. So hopefully, on their behalf, Werner does do well. And I do like the look of him. I've seen enough of him at Chelsea to say that he's probably going to be a decent player for the Premier League. The Bundesliga is very similar to the Premier League in the pace of the game. So I feel like he'll come good, but it's a lot of money. And then when you're spending £100 million on a player, you kind of want that player to be amazing straight away. Like Newcastle with Joelinton, I'm not making a joke about it, but you expect him to be better than he is because of how much you paid for him.
But more pressure on him as well.
It's the same with Chelsea. Yeah, they want Havertz to be fantastic now, whereas he might be fantastic in 2 years. But it's like you've got to be careful with spending so much money. It happened with us with Maguire. We spent a lot of money with Maguire, and he had a bit of trouble at the start, but now he's kind of settling down. So players don't come to England all the time and do great straight away. So there's so many players that are world-class players from past and present that have come to the Premier League and didn't do well straight away, but had fantastic careers. So I'm sure you being a Newcastle fan could name me loads, and all of the Matters lot will be able to tell me Ginola, players like that, players that had that quality, like that didn't necessarily start great. So it happens all the time. Ronaldo was a good example of it. Struggled when he first came, changed his game, become one of the best players in the world. So you need to be patient, but when you're paying 100 million, there's only so much patience you can be.
Okay, Aston Villa. As we mentioned, after Chelsea games, they went to the 6th positions. Do you agree that Aston Villa switched to the position with Sheffield United last year? Like they were 1 point for the championship, and now look where they are.
Yeah, it's a strange one, ain't it? Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. Yeah, they're a very good team as well. Obviously.
Just like Sheffield United last year. Now it's opposite.
It's my fault that the show was an hour later than it's supposed to be because my team was playing Aston Villa. So I do thank the both of you for waiting for me so I could watch the game.
We win the game as well.
They're a good team, aren't they? You were just seeing tonight. Very, very good team. Dangerous team. Jack Grealish. What a player. What a player. But I think you're right. They're the Sheffield United the last season, didn't they? But they bought good players, Like I know I've said it constantly on this show tonight. Good players make good teams. And they've got a good manager. He's an Aston Villa fan. So he cares about the club. They've got owners that are willing to back them financially. So they're a club on the up, I think. I think they'll probably be there or thereabouts for a Europa League slot this season. And fully deserved. Very good team. Very tactically clued up as well. He sets his team up very well. When they've not got the ball, they're very tough to break down. And they break very fast on the counter-attack. They've got quite a lot of clever players. El Ghazi, they've got Traore on the wings. They've got Grealish and Ross Barkley's on loan as well, who is injured at the moment. Very good player from Chelsea. So they'll be good. And they've got two very good midfielders. John McGinn's a quality player, and Douglas Luiz. They give them a very good foundation to build from. And they've got some very good attacking fullbacks as well, particularly Matty Cash. He nearly scored a very good goal today. Thank God he didn't score because it was a great save. But they're a good team. I really like them. I think they'll get into Europe, to be honest. They're a very good team. Them or Leicester will be pushing for Exciting to see the teams just lower than the top four because there's some very good teams in the Premier League. It's a very competitive league.
And they beat Liverpool 7. I think it's been ages since this result happened against Liverpool.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, Alwaleed. Thank you very much.
Even if Liverpool win the league, let's say this season,
Best game this season, huh?
it's gonna be a shame.
It was the game when Tottenham beat us badly. And, my phone was lighting up on Twitter. Look at your team, da 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 da. And then my friend gave me a bit of stick before the game. Man, you're a joke. He's finished as a big club. Liverpool fan. So you can imagine the message he got after the Aston Villa game. But he sent me a message today, actually, saying you were lucky for your penalty. And he's a Liverpool fan, so I just sent back a nice little Happy New Year, mate. You know, like he was moaning about Man U's penalty earlier because apparently. But yeah, that was an unbelievable result against Liverpool, wasn't it? So they're a really good team, Aston Villa, man. They're going to be hard to beat for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Last year, McKean was linked to Man United. This year, Jack Grealish linked to Man United. Is any of these two? Is it right, or what do you think? We need someone there.
I think Grealish. I think Solskjaer wanted Grealish. Solskjaer wanted three players in the summer. He wanted Jadon Sancho. He wanted Jack Grealish, and he wanted the centre back. We were linked with Upamecano from RB Leipzig. We were linked with Koulibaly as well at Napoli. And we didn't get any of them. So it seems to be quite a common theme at Man United. But I just think Grealish, he's another player. I can't remember who we were talking about earlier that I said I love Zaha. He's in that bracket. Like I'd love watching them play. You know, great players, exciting players. And you've seen him tonight. Although I couldn't appreciate him tonight, he was doing my head in because he was playing so well. And I'm thinking, you're playing against my team, so I'm not going to be happy watching you playing like this. But they're a really well ran team, and as I say, they've got the backing to bring good players in as well. So they've done really well, and I think what you were saying now, that they've replaced Sheffield United, which is pretty weird, but it's true. Like they're doing really well, Aston Villa. So, and John McGinn, he was at Hibs, and my friend, Celtic fan, and he was saying, I would love John McGinn to come and play for Celtic. He's fantastic. Celtic had a chance to sign him for 3.5 million. They didn't. They rejected it because they thought it was too much money. Aston Villa signed him for 7 million from Hibs, and now he's one of the best midfielders statistically in the Premier League. So, yeah, it's a funny old game.
Okay, number 4, Everton. Ancelotti lately he's angry because they postponed City game. I think he feel that he gonna win it. James Rodriguez will come back next game. Being asked about the goal of Everton this season, he was realistic. He says, "My goal is European seat, not the Premier League."
I quite like Ancelotti, but I remember Ancelotti from his AC Milan days. I went to Old Trafford when they completely played us off the park, and Kaká scored a fantastic goal.
Oh, that game was 3-2 to United, right?
Yeah, like I remember he was just Kaká was amazing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You know,
when Hines and Ibra, remember?
Yeah. Inzaghi, that like Maldini, Jackson, Rui Costa, Seedorf. I mean, you can amazing players.
Yeah.
So I always kind of liked Ancelotti from his days there, and then he obviously came to Chelsea, done well. Man United wanted Ancelotti to replace Alex Ferguson, but he wouldn't come. I don't know if you knew that, but that's who Alex Ferguson wanted. So we went from Ancelotti to David Moyes. So yeah, that was. Yeah,
I just read that today. I think he said it's difficult to take, and he have offer from Real Madrid at the time.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So who knows what would have happened if Ancelotti would have come in? I think he would have done well at Man United, but I think he's doing well at Everton. But they just got beat tonight by West Ham, didn't they? So they're a little bit inconsistent. So they've picked up some really good results, but they seem to drop points when you think they're just getting a run together. So we played them. I know you just showed the games there. We played them a few games ago, and they were a good team. We played them in the cup.
Yeah,
We
Newcastle went 2-1.
2-0, yeah. So, but they were just as good as us. We were clinical. They've got some very good players, you know.
Yeah, they like Richardson, Calvert, but I think they need more players.
Yeah, they need a little bit more quality. They've signed really good players in the transfer window, but they'll take time. Like Rodriguez, players like that, Allen that they signed from Napoli, they'll take time. Like every player, I know we were speaking about it a minute ago, weren't we? Players take time in the Premier League to settle, and they're doing very well at the moment, but maybe they're doing a bit better than they should. So, but they've got a very good manager. If you have a good manager, you have a good team. So,
and he put I think against Sheffield Sigurdsson at the back. That means he have difficulty or problems at the backside.
Yeah, I think they have got a little bit of an issue defensively. They bought in Godfrey, didn't they, from Norwich in the summer? Good player for Norwich when they were in the Premier League. I thought he'd done well considering they got relegated. So yeah, I think what he's done with Calvert-Lewin, he's made him a proper centre forward. He looks like a real problem. Another player I would quite happily have at Man United. Scores goals for fun, can link play up very good. I quite like Ancelotti. As I said, I've watched his career. Didn't like him when he was at Chelsea and he was winning the league because he was stopping us winning the league. But very good manager. And if you give managers time, they build good teams. And I feel like in the next maybe 1 to 2 years, if they stay with Ancelotti and he doesn't get a better offer from a bigger club, they'll be going in the right direction. But Everton have got good foundations as well, good cement, as we said, to build on the next phase of their club. Good team.
Okay, Leicester City. Do you believe they could win the Premier League again?
No. No. I think
they're doing very well this season.
they're doing. Yeah, they are doing really well. What do you think about them?
I think Leicester City they have just the right players in right positions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know how to get. And this is good choosing of the players. They know this player will be very good at this position. We notice Claudio Ranieri, and they changed the coach. It was no that drop in the team, not just win the title and just become at relegation battle,
like Sheffield, for example.
Yeah, and I believe also the Vardy doing great job there.
Yeah,
he's doing well, isn't he? He's a success story, Vardy. Ain't he? Come up from the leagues. You probably know what. So he's a good person to look up to if you're a young striker and you want to try and make it. You know, he's a prime example of the steps you need to take. He actually was at Fleetwood Town, and one of my good friends is a Fleetwood holder, so he loves Vardy. But I remember going to just a quick little story about Brendan Rodgers, with you saying they've got the right players in the right positions. I went to watch Celtic, who obviously Brendan Rodgers was at Celtic before he went to Leicester, and it was Celtic versus Aberdeen, and the goalkeeper was Doris de Vries. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, a Dutch goalkeeper, but he was a Celtic reserve goalkeeper because their main goalie was injured. And I was sort of a couple of seats away from Brendan Rodgers, where my friend sits at Celtic Park, is right next to the players. So the goalkeeper kept pinging the ball long. And my mate turned to me and said to him, if he does that one more time, he's going to get told off, watch. So the goalie gets the ball, kicks it up the field. Rodgers comes off of his chair. He didn't do it again. Every time he got the ball, he passed to the centre. Never a big kick up the field. So I think the way Brendan Rodgers plays and his team plays is very pass orientated. Get the ball from the defence into the midfield, to the wingers, into the striker, get the ball back, start again. That's the way he plays. Very intricate, pragmatic football. He likes his players to be very comfortable on the ball. When he went to Celtic, he converted Ayer, who is a Norwegian international, he was a defensive midfielder at Celtic, couldn't get a game, went on loan to Kilmarnock. Very good on the ball, very good in the tackle, very good in the ball. Christopher Ayer, his name is. I'm sure you have heard of him. He dropped him back to centre-back and got him to play a passing game from centre-back. And Celtic obviously won 2 trebles in a row under Brendan Rodgers. In comparison to the Premier League, there is no comparison. The league's a lot lower quality. But I do have a bit of a soft spot for Celtic. And if you're interested, Celtic are playing Rangers tomorrow. And that's a massive game. So if you've got time, it's on at 11:30 English time. So I don't know what time that will be in Saudi, but that might be worth a watch because that will be a good game, I think. But it's nowhere near the same level. But he's brought his method from Chelsea, because he was at Chelsea, Brendan Rodgers, as a youth coach. And he's moved around. He was at Reading, Swansea, and he's always played the same way. I think he was too young when he went to Liverpool. It was a bit too big of a job for him. I wouldn't be surprised in 5 years' time if he's managing one of the top teams in England. I really, really like Brendan Rodgers. I would probably take him at Man United if we needed a manager, but we're not doing too bad at the moment. So Ollie's all right at the moment. But I like Brendan Rodgers. I like the way he plays. But sometimes when Leicester, he doesn't necessarily have a plan B, Rodgers. He's another Guardiola. When plan A doesn't work, they usually get beat. But you've got to like it. And they're exciting, aren't they? They're one of them teams in the Premier League that are really exciting to watch. I like watching Leicester. Vardy's a wasp as well, like Mopé. He's a wasp. The beer. He's always on you all the time.
And he was close, I think, to get the Liverpool the title 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had some very good players, didn't they? They had Kante.
Yeah, but Chelsea beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mahrez was very good.
Yeah. But I think City get the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we have United, but let's finish with Liverpool quickly. What do you think? Let's finish with Liverpool quickly so get back to Man United.
So I'm sure Jimmy see Liverpool as a second position, right, Jimmy?
No. What's your Do you want me to analyze Liverpool's Premier League? He's gonna put this on me. How do you think? How do you think?
I'm just saying who are gonna start. Just a quick talking about Liverpool.
How do you think Sunderland are doing, Alwaleed?
Sunderland?
Tell me something nice about Sunderland. That's what you're asking me to do.
Okay, no. Liverpool. I don't know. I think they are exhausted. Maybe they get defensive player. They more injury. Van Dijk. They got affected. Actually, it was funny. I find a joke. After I hope he gets back. He gets a player. Van Dijk, when he got injured, second game I think for Liverpool, right after Van Dijk was absent, I think they get a clean sheet and they put a picture of Van Dijk. Some players in Liverpool picture in white and black, and they said this goal clean sheet for you, Van Dijk, and they said rest in peace.
Yeah, because Liverpool are the only club in the whole of English football that get injuries. You know, no other club gets injuries, only them. You know,
they get Gomez, Matip. So I think they need some defensive players. Wijnaldum maybe. This is maybe. I don't know why. I don't know. I think some issue happened because I remember Wijnaldum was very good player and club like him very much, and I'm not sure why maybe he doesn't agree on the terms on the recontract. I'm not sure. They linked to maybe move in this time or maybe summer. Origi and Shaqiri no leaving decision by club, and Van Dijk in Dubai now for recovery. That's last gossiping about.
He's having a nice holiday in Dubai, is he?
No, he's نادي الشابة in الإمارات in Dubai just for it.
Yeah,
All
I'm sure.
right. So
Yeah, he's Liverpool are like forgetting the laughs and jokes a minute and being serious. Like Liverpool are a fantastic team. Like they are a fantastic team.
Yeah, especially club.
I remember you mentioned Nathan Ake earlier, didn't you? Remember when we were speaking about City? Well, he was one player I thought Man U should sign. The other was Jota, that was at Wolves at the time, and he's obviously went to Liverpool. So I think Jurgen Klopp's a prime example of patience, because there was a lot of seasons, a lot of great seasons when they weren't doing well, you know, and I thoroughly enjoyed it when they weren't doing well. But now they are doing well, and he's a prime example of, if you give the right manager time, you might get it right. So maybe Newcastle need to be patient with Bruce. Maybe it's coming better. I'm joking, but he came in with a vision. He implemented it over maybe 5 years. I think he's probably been there now 5-6 years. And look what he's won, you know, and it pains me to say it, that they've won the Champions League, they've won the league after 30 years.
Teams in the world now.
They are a fantastic team, yeah. That hurts me so much to say that, you know. But they are a fantastic team, and they've got great players, but they don't necessarily have any superstar players. An ego player like Ibrahimovic, for example, you know, if he was really young, and he's got an arrogance about him, hasn't he?
Like Messi.
Yeah, they've got like Mane, they've got Salah. Like, these players are world class players, but they don't have the ego. They're willing to defend, like, and you know, they work for the team, and they've got players like Jordan Henderson, who come from Sunderland, and they've bought players that were seen by other teams as not being very good. They bought Andy Robinson from Hull for £6 million, and people were like, "Why are they signing him for? He's rubbish." They got relegated, and now he's one of the best left backs in the world. But that's down to coaching. I know if at the start of the show, when I was saying that, it's about coaching. Like, you've got to work with young players, and they're doing it on a much bigger level than what I'm doing it on. But they can obviously see attribute in a player, and they've bought him for that, and they've made him better than he was when they bought him. So Klopp's a fantastic manager. He moans about everything, but and it's never Liverpool's fault either. It's always someone else's fault. But going back to the football side of things, fantastic club, one of the best teams in the world at the moment. Klopp's a fantastic manager. I just hope Germany get him so he goes away, so they can get worse, because he's a great coach. My girlfriend, she'll be sleeping now, but my girlfriend's a Liverpool fan, so you can imagine what it's like. Had all the success in the world, and I just bought her a Liverpool top for Christmas, and it hurt me so much. Like, you can't even imagine. Paying for that was so tough. But she's got a Liverpool shirt that I had to pay for out of my hard-earned money. Can you imagine having to go to work all week and then buying a partner? Yeah, so no good, but fantastic team. Like, obviously, I don't like seeing them do well. I'm a Man United fan, but you can't. When it comes to talking football, you can't say nothing bad about them. They're a fantastic team. They play great football, and they're probably going to get better. That's the scary thing. They're probably going to get better, but I'm hoping they'll do really well for a couple of years, and then Klopp will leave, and then they'll start going back down to where they should be.
Okay.
All right.
Manuel? Okay.
So break before United, Manchester United.
I'll just get some water. I'll just have some water.
No.
I do talk a lot, so I'm ever so sorry if I've went over your time, because I do talk a lot.
No, but like, we are very happy. It's okay.
I'm in Saudi Arabia at the moment.
So, are you happy with Solskjaer? so far.
I am happy with him. Yeah. There has been times where I've been unhappy with him. I've never wanted him to get the sack. I'm quite vocal when it comes to Man United about what I think is wrong with the club, what we need to fix. The board's a massive problem at Man United. People just see because we spend money that everything's fine, but it's not the case. When you do your research on Man United, the owners are not very good people to have running your club. You just need to look at their American football team.
Yeah.
So if the first thing I would say on Man United, if you know any that are interested in buying my club, I would be very happy. So maybe if this Newcastle deal doesn't go through, and the Matters lads will hate me for this, maybe they can buy our club, my club. That would be absolutely fantastic. I would love to see Mbappe playing up front for us.
Yeah.
I am happy with Solskjaer. I'm happy with the direction that we're going. I think we're probably overachieving a little bit. Sorry. At the moment.
Until now, he's doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ask you the questions first then, because I've got a lot to say on Man U. But what's your view on Man U then? What do you think? How do you think we're getting on?
Okay. We speak earlier just now about club. I think they bring. They know that they bring the good choice of coach, and they get time. They wait, be patient for him. I remember when he started, I think Van Gaal play against club for first time with Manchester United, and maybe not the first game or maybe second game, but I remember Ronnie scored, I think, in Anfield, if you remember. And all fans of Manchester United, they say that they are in the right way to back to Ferguson era. But what happened is the opposite. They sacked Van Gaal. They bring Mourinho, and they just give him 2-3 players signing.
Yeah,
and that's it. The team, it wasn't. There is players from different choice of another manager. This makes things together, make the chemistry go very bad. So when they bring the idea of the I don't know how to call it, but they said they will bring the same of 92 class.
a cultural.
Yeah, it was good idea, but maybe not the best idea. So they bring Solskjaer. I think he was close to get sacked, but they bring the right choice of a player, Bruno Fernandes. I think he's not just fill his position, he just reorganized the whole team.
Yeah, he's the manager.
He's a manager exactly in the field. Yeah. I see him play. He play everywhere, do everything. His teammates, they are happy to play with him, feel confident. They pass him the ball. They take him from him the ball. I think, now they are doing great. I think there is an issue about Paul Pogba. I think he must leave because he just play good today just to leave, just to attract other clubs. Because I know Pogba can do great at this game, every game, not just.
We saw in last World Cup. It was amazing.
Yeah. You can imagine how frustrating it is to watch him when he doesn't play very well. I like him.
It looks like he's intense. He just act like he doesn't play well.
I don't even know what the answer is with him, Alwaleed. I generally don't. He's probably the most frustrating football player. The only analogy I can use, because you're a Newcastle supporter, is he's like Sylvie. He has so much ability, yet he just doesn't look interested sometimes. Paul Pogba is on a different planet to Shelby. Don't get me wrong, but they both have individual. What a picture! What a picture! That was when it all changed. The handshake. Dean Henderson's been a very good addition to the team as well. Kept David De Gea on his toes. I'll tell you, I don't want to be too long with this because I know people probably heard my voice far too much tonight. I'll try and break it down, what I think. And Rich has given me a bit of stick about saying I want the Saudis to get Man United and not Newcastle, so I do apologise, Rich. Sorry. I think the issue with... I think you're absolutely spot on with what you were saying. There was an issue. There's players that played under Van Gaal and Mourinho that's still there now, that Ollie probably doesn't necessarily want. The owners have a very good way of spinning the fans. It's all publicity with Man United. If we lose a game, there's a media story saying it's fine. Man U lost, but they're going to sign Upamecano in the summer. So we let our guard down and think, that's all right then. We'll just get the season over with and we'll buy a centre-back. Then the summer comes, we don't buy him. So it's all a bit of a game with Man United. But I think they're not backing... they brought the wrong players in when Van Gaal was there. They brought Di Maria in. They brought Falcao in. These players didn't want to come to the club. They come to the club to sell shirts. And that's the truth of it. We brought Pogba back when Mourinho...
Big mistake.
Everybody thought it was a massive signing. We're signing the best player in the world. Hasn't worked out that way. And football is very simple sometimes. You can have all the ability in the world, and it goes down to my personal game. I had a lot of ability. I was a very good football player. I didn't work hard. That was my biggest issue. If I had the same mentality defensively as I had attacking, I think I probably could have played a better level than I did. And it's the same with Pogba. Like, I feel like he thinks he's world class, and he is world class, but his performances are not world class sometimes. But the thing is, when he is on his game, there isn't a better player in Man U's team, probably bar Fernandes. So I do feel like recruitment's an issue. We seem to go in the Europa League, and then we'll get in the Champions League, and they'll spend no money. And then it's a role reversal again. We're back in the Europa League, and it's all financial gain for Man United. They've took like something like £1.5 billion out of the club. It's unsustainable for a football team to take that amount of money out and not reinvest some of it. And I'm not for a second saying they haven't reinvested it, but they reinvested it in the wrong players. And now we've got an issue where Ollie's trying to get these players out. And to a certain extent, he has. He's got Sanchez out. He's got Lukaku out. These players were not good for the dressing room. And Pogba's the next one. I think if you sat down in a quiet room with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer where no one could hear and asked him, do you want Paul Pogba at Manchester United? I don't think he would say yes. I think he'd say there's a bit of a circus with him, with his agent. Move him on, but just keep that between me and you because we don't want the whole world to know about it. I think that's what's happened. I think Ollie sat him down and said to him, give me a really good end to the season and we'll get rid of you when we can. I think that's what's happened because a lot of Man United fans didn't want him to come back into the team at all. We were done with him. I was done with him. I was like, don't shame my club by playing him after he's just said he doesn't want to be at my club. Because for me, and this is from a fan perspective, Man United is everything to me. Just like Al Hilal is everything to you. Newcastle is everything to you, yeah? I would play for Man United for nothing, you know? I'm sure you would play at St. James's Park for nothing, for Al Hilal for nothing. It means something in the heart, you know? And it's difficult when players don't have that same mindset. It's a different situation, but I feel like Ollie's came in and he's got rid of the bad eggs in the group, and he's got his eggs now, and he's quite happy with working with what he's got. And gradually we're getting better and better and better, and we seem to be recruiting a certain type of football player. They're very young. They've got Premier League experience, and then he's going out into Europe and buying these little players. We've got a young player coming in January from Atalanta in Italy. Very good young player, Adam Traore. Apparently, he's one of the best young players in the world. I haven't seen enough of him to know whether it's true or not, but apparently he is. We're after an 18-year-old, Moses Caicedo, from a team in Ecuador. Like, we're looking at players now that nobody's even heard of. And they're doing very good work with scouts. They're being linked very heavily with Aarons from Norwich. Very young player, very good right back. They're looking at certain types of players now. They're not going after the Di Marias and that anymore. They know that it doesn't work. They've made too many mistakes. They've put their hands onto the fire too many times, and they've got burnt so much that they're not willing to do it no more. And from a fan perspective, that's great. I'm happy about that, because it's a negative progression in the wrong direction for the club. And I feel like finally we've got a good layer, and we're building a nice big cake, and we've got Bruno Fernandes on the top for the cherry that just makes it all tick. And he has been absolutely phenomenal. And I know I've mentioned a little bit on occasions tonight about my Portuguese football knowledge. I knew he was going to be a good signing. Just the way he played football and his attacking style of play, that's a Man United style of football player. If you come to the Stretford end and you attack and you always look forward when you've got the ball, Man United fans will love you. It's the same for a number 9 at St James's Park. The Gallagher will absolutely love you if you score goals. You know, every club's got a specific little thing. Newcastle is the number 9. They love a good goal scorer. They love an Alan Shearer, although you can't buy an Alan Shearer anymore because it doesn't exist because he was too good. But maybe you've got one in Wilson, like somebody that's got goals, you know. I'll come on to Newcastle shortly, but if you're an attacking player, Man United fans will love you, hence why we sing his song. You know, we've got a song about Bruno Fernandes. We adore him. The fans love him. And you know the sad thing? He hasn't even played in front of Old Trafford that much when it's full. When it's full, he's going to understand how much we love him, because we'll sing his name because he's that good. And he's the one that's making it tick at the moment. He's our De Bruyne in City's team. And I think he's better than De Bruyne. And I'm not just saying that. I generally do think he's better. His stats are better. His goal contribution's better. His assist contribution's better than De Bruyne's this season. I think he's a better player this season. And I'll probably get a bit of stick if any of the Matters boys watch this, because I'm bigging myself up and my team. But I think he's the best player in the world at the moment. I honestly do. I don't think there's a better player than Fernandes at the moment.
Who chose him for United?
Who
chose him? Who chose him for United?
Who signed him?
Sam.
Ollie was there when we signed him. We scouted him in the summer, and we didn't buy him, and he very nearly signed for Tottenham. Luckily, he didn't sign for Tottenham, and then we went back in January and signed him because Sporting Lisbon were in a lot of. Do you remember the incident where the fans broke into the Sporting Lisbon dressing room and beat the players up? Did you ever hear about that?
No.
Yeah, that happened, and a lot of players left Sporting Lisbon at the time, including Wolves' goalkeeper Patricio. He was one that got hit by the fan, and a lot of players left them, and they owed a lot of players money from compensation and stuff. So they needed to make money, and Man U used that to their advantage to say, we're not paying 60 million that you want. We'll let it go 6 months down the line, and we'll get him in January for 46, what we ended up paying for him. and we've got a fantastic player. I'm sure even you have got your own teams you support, but I'm sure you love watching Fernandes. You know, so he's like the icing on top of us, and he's just a joy to watch. Like, you know, I love watching him. He's fantastic. We're joint top of the league at the moment, so it can't go much better than me. For me at the moment, we're doing as well as we possibly can, and it's good to be a Man United fan for once, because we've had a couple of tough years. So it's nice to look at Liverpool and think, yeah, we're top of the league as well, not just you. So it's quite a nice feeling. But I'm going to stop talking about Man U now, because I could talk about them all night. So let's go to the icing on the top of this cake, Newcastle.
Just last thing, Cavani will extend. Are you happy with Cavani?
Yeah, I think he's. I think he brings a lot to the team. He brings a lot of experience, a lot of quality, and he can teach the likes of Marshall, Rashford, Greenwood. They can learn from him. He's a world-class striker. He's a bit old, but he's actually younger than Jamie Vardy. I didn't know if you knew that, but he's younger than Vardy. And Vardy plays every game for Leicester, but apparently Cavani's too old to play every game for Man United. So how does that work? But it was a panic buy, don't get me wrong, but I think that's a masterstroke. It's a panic buy that went very well. And Tom's just said, what are my thoughts on Fred? I like Fred. He's a very good defensive-minded ball player, and he works very well in Ollie's pivot, his double midfield that he plays McTominay and Fred. I think they have attributes that help the other player. What Scott McTominay is good at, Fred isn't, and what Fred's good at, McTominay isn't. If he could be better on the ball and he used possession better, he would be a much better player. But I absolutely love Fred. But I have talked about Man United far too long on here, so I want to try and move on and get to the creme de la creme, because I want to hear what you do, Newcastle as well.
Let's run some. All right. So we will start with Newcastle. We'll finish at Newcastle. All right. Okay. We get a draw. Good draw from. Funny picture I found, actually. What? I would like to thank who got this photo. What do you think of the game against Liverpool?
Absolutely fantastic game. In all seriousness, I thought Newcastle were very good. I listened to the Matters lads speaking when I was watching the game on the Match Day Live. I listened to their opinions. I know they were happy with the performance against Liverpool. I thought they battled very well. They got stuck in. They rode their luck at times. They showed a little bit of quality defensively when they needed to, and I seen a little bit of heart from Newcastle. And the boy you've got on the screen at the moment, Darlow, was absolutely fantastic. And I can go on record and tell you, this is an absolute fact, that I probably celebrated that draw just as much as you guys. And my girlfriend had a good day for it. So I was very happy, but they're a funny old club, Newcastle. What do you think about the game, Alwaleed? What was your thoughts, and what was your thoughts, El? How did you see the game?
Actually, the lads in the show, in the studio, most of them expect we concede a lot of goals, but I expect a draw, and they were laughing about my expectation. But I said I expect a draw because I know that Newcastle, they are good players. They can do something for their families. in the holidays. They won't make the families watching them. There is a spirit. I'm not gonna say miracle, but there is a spirit. I want to do something. I know everybody think Liverpool gonna beat us, but we will prove them wrong. And they prevent Liverpool for first time to score this season. I think this is big thing. What I didn't like, of course, Steve Bruce still have issue with his tactics, especially in attacking. I think he's a great point collector. I can, if I give him a name, he just how to collect point against some teams. His style of play, we see, he draw from against the club. He got win against Carlo Ancelotti and Everton.
Point against Tottenham.
Point against Tottenham, against Mourinho. So his style of play, he's one plan coach. He get some points against some teams. He have good players, not the great player, but they have fighters, especially in the defense. Ferdinand, Clark, Lascelles, Sharp. We saw last good duo between Matty, Longstaff, and Hayden last time. They have good players, and I think this formation do good against some teams, not all of the teams. Some teams it's fit. If just they didn't concede a goal, they can do something. But sometimes winnable games. This is what I hate. Winnable games, we lost it just like that.
Yeah, that's literally what I was thinking when you were saying that. Like, Newcastle are built to play against a better team than them. They play better when they're playing against a better team than them. And when they play the likes of the teams in and around them, like the Fulhams, for example, what we were speaking about earlier, they struggle. They don't know what to do. They're not built.
Lost against Brighton.
Yeah, Brighton. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot wrong with the club. Obviously, you're involved in it all, Alwaleed, with all the other lads. You talk about Newcastle on a daily basis. I just sort of watch from afar, and obviously I understand what's going on because I'm in contact with quite a lot of the Matters lads as well as yourself. They just need they need the takeover. The club needs the takeover. I don't know what the situation is with it. You're probably the best men to ask with regards to the Saudi takeover. I know Steve does quite a lot of work on it as well, and I watch all the Matters shows, the Matchday Lives, the Three Amigos, the Ladies' Nights, all of it. So I know what's going on. I probably watch more Newcastle videos than Man United, which is crazy when you think about it. But I've got a lot of time for Steve, and I really enjoy the channel. And sometimes I go on there myself as well, which is nice. So yeah, I kind of know what the crack is with Newcastle, and they're crying out for a takeover. They've got everything here. I was saying to you before show, wasn't I? I live about 10 minutes away from St. James's Park. It's an amazing ground. They just need somebody to come in there that's got a bit of ambition. And I cannot stress enough. Like, I've lived in Newcastle for 11 years, and their fan base is amazing. Like, you don't get a kid in Newcastle that supports Man U. He's a Newcastle fan. I get so much stick off my football team because I'm a Man U fan, and I'm like, I'm trying to help you, and you're giving me stick about what shirt I've got on. They're all Newcastle fans, or they're Sunderland fans, because we'll not talk about Sunderland. It's not a Sunderland show, but it's got so much potential, and it just needs a bit of financing. And to a certain extent, Ashley's tried to penny pinch as much as he can and make as much money as he possibly can off the club by spending little, and it's a shame because the infrastructure is here, the fan base is here, the stadium's here. They just need somebody that's going to come in and put the money in. And if the Saudis get hold of it, the money's going to start rolling in, isn't it? So it'll be very interesting when Joelinton's lining up next to Mbappe on a match day, because they're going to have the financial power to go out and buy whatever player they want. And the thing is, it won't happen overnight. I think there's quite a lot of Newcastle fans out there that think that the takeover is the be-all and end-all, that, we're going to win trophies when the takeover happens. It doesn't work like that. Look at Manchester City. It takes time. It takes years. But it can happen. And there's so wrong with their current setup. The manager's not good enough. The playing staff, they've got good players, but he doesn't play the right players in the right formations. Everything's there, but they just don't have key parts in the puzzle. And I feel like when they do get that, it's going to be interesting, because once the finances start coming into a football team and the better training facilities come, the better youth players come, the better players for the first team come, the better manager comes. I know everybody seems to think that bringing Rafa back's a great idea, but Rafa did well at Newcastle, and he did do well, and I'm not going to sit here and sort of say he didn't, because he did. But I'm not one for bringing back old coaches. I think that there's a lot of really good young managers out there that could bring a certain type of football to Newcastle. Good German managers in the Bundesliga. I could name them, but I'll be here all night. There's good managers in the French league at lower teams. There's loads of managers out there. And I think Newcastle fans, to a certain extent, are obsessed with Rafa because it's the only hope that they had at the time. Like, the owner wasn't very good. The team wasn't very good. They were in the championship when Rafa was there as well. And they didn't have anything else to cling on to. So they clinged on to Rafa. I had a whinge about Rafa a few times. I thought he got away with quite a lot. I think the money he did have, and I'm not saying for a second he had loads of money, because he didn't. But the money he did have, he didn't buy very good players with it. He bought players like Muto and players like that. They didn't work. I'm not saying he didn't do a lot of good things there, because he did. But financially, he was never really going to be given that money to be able to progress as a club. And I feel that it's never current regime. Mentioned earlier, Bruce isn't good enough. He's tactically a dinosaur. I think he knows it as well. Sometimes you hear his interviews and it's the same old stuff. And I know, like, it's a bit of a running joke with Steve that he says the same things every week. But he does. He does say the same things every week. And it's so, just hope we're good enough to beat these. You don't want to hear that as a manager, as a fan, You don't want to see him smiling after he's just been beaten. It's annoying. And I feel like eventually... So many good faces there, ain't there? But I feel like eventually something's got to give. Like, I know there's a lot of talk about this takeover, and maybe you boys know something I don't, because you're maybe in the loop because you're based in Saudi. But I don't know. Something's got to give somewhere. And I think it's just a matter of time until they get the takeover. And then it begins, doesn't it? So it's... Newcastle is going to turn into a big circus as well, but God, it's going to be a fun circus to watch, because they're going to have so much money. They're going to bring so much to the area. They're going to create jobs. They're going to build a new training facility, probably. It's going to be another Man City, So I would love to see Newcastle win a trophy. And I've spoken about my team already. I'm a Man United fan, I'm not supposed to like Newcastle. Man U fans don't like Newcastle.
Yeah, usually.
I've been in the city long enough and taken an interest. When I moved to Newcastle, they were in the championship. So I've taken interest in the club, like, since I moved here, and meeting people like Steve. Like, Steve was my old football manager, and I just kind of sort of kept following, and I've just grown a little bit of a soft spot. If Newcastle are not playing Man United, I want them to win. I go to St. James's Park. I've been to St. James's Park probably about 40 times since I've lived here, which is not a lot in the amount of years I've lived here, but I ain't a fan, so I just go whenever I can. I took my sister to a game against Benfica, funnily enough. The first game in Europe. That was my first game with my little sister, Jasmine. And we got tickets for about 15 quid, I think. And we just decided to go. It was like a last minute thing. Because they were playing Benfica. My friend's a Benfica fan, obviously, I mentioned earlier. I thought I'm going to go and watch the game. And I just got a buzz for it. I heard the Strawberry Corner singing the songs, and when the old local hero comes on, it just gives me like a little bit of Newcastle are a good club, man. And it's just kind of moved on from there, and I've just grown a little soft spot, and then randomly messaged Steve on Twitter about coming on and giving a little bit of a perspective from a Man United fan's point of view on the Matters show. I know you were on it as well, Alwaleed. And it was good, and then it's led me on to doing things like this. So although I take an interest in the football club, I know a lot of people in Newcastle that are really good, genuine people that have helped me in my life. Like, not going off topic, but I didn't have any friends or anything up here when I first moved up here, and Steve was the first person that gave me an opportunity to play football. So people don't know that about me. Like, the reason why I have so much respect for Steve is because I found it hard in Newcastle when I first moved here. I had no friends. I can't even remember how old I was, to be honest. I hated it. I didn't have any mates. I didn't know anyone. And I decided to go to a football team that I met somebody that played for Steve's team. And I got Steve, and he gave me an opportunity to make friends and play football. And if it wasn't for Steve, I probably wouldn't have stayed in Newcastle, because I was borderline going back home because I'd had enough. I wanted to go and be with my friends and stuff. So I know it's a bit off topic, but that's why I have so much time for Steve. He's a great guy, because he doesn't probably know. He doesn't know this story. So if he listens to the show,
Newcastle too.
yeah, and he follows Newcastle. Yeah, he's a big Newcastle United fan. So Steve probably doesn't even know that story I've just told you, but I'm very grateful to him, because I love living in the city. And if it wasn't for starting playing football with his team, I probably wouldn't have stayed in Newcastle, and I would have probably been living back home now, and I wouldn't know any of the Matters lads. I wouldn't have all my mates up here. I wouldn't meet people like you guys. So it's yeah, it's good. And back to the Newcastle thing, I would love to see us win a trophy. I would be on the beer trophy, you know. Like, I was in a bar in Newcastle for my first ever derby when Newcastle beat Sunderland 5-1, and oh my god, like, unbelievable. Like, I have such a good memory of that day. I drunk far too much drink. My head the next day was killing, but it didn't matter. They beat Sunderland, and if you ever get the opportunity to come to St James's Park, then come and witness it, because I swear, I know you just love Newcastle now, but you will love it. Yeah, you will love it.
Regarding Rafa, most of the Newcastle fans want Rafa to, as they said, to finish what he started. He started big project, but unfortunately, Mike Ashley didn't allow him to finish this or continue on this project. So actually, I can say I am with Rafa getting back after the takeover to quickly fix the damaging from Mr. Steve Bruce. Steve Bruce, as Steve Wraith in Three Amigos says today, that he will stay until there will be a decision regarding the takeover. Either the takeover happen, Steve Bruce will leave, and even if happen, he will leave. Even if not happen, he will leave. So, yeah, just we stuck until the picture become clear. We've been so long waiting, and we are sure that they are talking behind the walls and very quiet. Most of the resources says it's calm before the storm. Liam Kennedy from Shields Gazette said something I like. He said, the long of the quiet time, it's a good thing. You see it from his perspective. That shows that there is a negotiating. Because next thing we are gonna hear, it's the decision or the final sentence. So that's why we are feel it's big confident that it will gonna happen. For me, I think it will happen without legal action, but also if this thing going to legal action, also we are gonna win it. But I feel that it's gonna happen without legal action, without have to do that. But it's of course we have to be prepared.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the same as you. I think something's going to give somewhere, and I think it has to. There's too much back and forth. I know loads of people are talking about this in the comments. You can probably see. It's a difficult one for me because I ain't a supporter of the club, so it doesn't really have a direct impact on my life. So I'll be honest with you. Apart from listening to Liam's slots on the Matters show, I don't really know too much about it, and I'm not really. I wouldn't say I'm not interested, but Man U's my team, so I kind of concentrate on them a bit. But I do think that something's coming. I do think it's ever so quiet at the moment. It isn't going to go away. This, so it's like, and Ashley wants to sell, and if Ashley wants to sell, he's going to get his money somehow. And yous will know better than me. Yous live in Saudi Arabia. Yous will know a lot about this takeover, about the people that want to take over. I've heard they've got a lot of money. So it's a case of we'll wait and see, won't we? And I'm not a big lover of the whole Rafa idea, I'll be honest. I wouldn't go down that direction if I was Newcastle. Might get a bit of stick for that, but that's just my opinion. And it's I do think Rafa done a great job at Newcastle. To a certain extent, there's certain things that I didn't think he done great that no one ever talks about. But he's a very good manager. I just feel like sometimes you've got to move on with the times. And there's younger managers out there that have got a lot more longevity in the game than Rafa. And he used to manage Liverpool, so I can't be too nice about him. So yeah, I'm with you, Alwaleed. I'm on the same wavelength as you, mate. I know something's coming, and when it comes, I'm going to be like, here we go. Where's the popcorn? Because it's going to be fun to watch it.
Before we going through, because it's a joyful time. We spend too much time, but it's okay. I hope. Quick question before we go to the fan question. All right. Any idea? Where is he?
Yeah, where is he? He's playing hide and seek at the moment, isn't he? Fantastic.
In France.
Brilliant player. Fantastic player. I don't know what's going on with him. Yes, very weird. I think he's probably the most gifted player in the Newcastle team. Well, there's no question. He is the best player in the Newcastle team. He can come and play on Man U's right wing if he doesn't want to stay at Newcastle. No problem.
No, we are not trying to sell the player to your team. We're just asking where is he now? Where
is it? Yeah, I don't know, mate. You probably know more than me where he is.
Top 4 for this season.
Liverpool, Man United. This is not in an order, by the way.
No, we want an order.
Oh, you want the order?
Yeah.
Man United first.
Oh.
I think I'm only joking. I think Liverpool win the league in the end of it, although it hurts me to say it. Liverpool, either Man United or Man City, second and third, and Tottenham fourth.
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't think Liverpool will gonna win.
Don't think. Who do you think is going to win the league?
This is hard, but not Liverpool.
Not Liverpool.
Okay. Who will be relegated?
I think the bottom three they're in the position now will be relegated. I just don't think they've got enough quality, and I don't think they'll be able to attract the players to get them out of the position. So I kind of hope Sheffield United don't go down, but it's tough, very tough.
Next coach sooner to be sacked. I did some poll there. Bruce win 50%. So shared. No, so shared 50%. Arteta 19, Wilder 29. Who you think?
I voted on this, I voted on this, Alwaleed, when you put this up. I went for Chris Wilder, but I'm sure all the Matters lads pressed the Bruce button. That's why he's.
All right. Of course, we have so many questions for you from the fans, Jimmy. So if you didn't like to, and if you have a question, you are not feel to answer it, just say pass, so we can go to the second one quickly.
I'll try and keep these as brief as I can because I don't want to keep this too much.
Yeah, of course it's okay for us. It's okay, but we are worried about you.
My girlfriend will have a go at me tomorrow. I'm sleeping in.
Don't worry. Okay, most of them sometimes a question, comment, anything. We will do it quickly.
It should be fun. Maxim has been back in France recovering from COVID and spending time with his family over the festive period. Is that a question or is that a telling me?
Maybe mostly to comment. Okay, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well, Keith. Grassroots coaching is fantastic, rewarding 5 years seeing the lads who hasn't even kicked the ball develop into a decent little player. So satisfying. Yeah, very satisfying. I really enjoy what I'm doing at the moment, and I know I've spoken to Rich. I was speaking to him today actually. I've just met him through the Matters group. Really spot on guy, and he tells me he's really involved. Loves his football as well. So yeah, get back involved with it, Rich, if you can, mate. I know I had a good conversation with you earlier, so it's nice to meet you anyway, and get involved in the football if you enjoy it, mate. You reckon Newcastle? I think we'd have I think we'll have, like I'm on the channel all the time. Obviously, I'm just involved, but I think all the Matters boys could play football. I know Steve can. Steve's prone to a good goal from time to time. I've seen him in a couple of charity matches, so I agree with Jamie coaching. Jamie coaching. Coaching continues, Jamie, but don't agree. Okay, that's fine.
Don't agree, yeah. Okay. Sometimes we play this while discussing, but for me it's disrupting. So usually I make them at the end of the show.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, thank you. Fulham match live was a brilliant night. Okay. Leicester, Arsenal, Sheffield, Arsenal, Leeds, Everton. How many points?
Is this Newcastle's next games?
Yeah. But one of Arsenal, I think, in the cup. Okay.
Yeah. Leicester at home. I think Leicester will beat Newcastle. I also think Arsenal will beat them in the cup. Sheffield United away is going to be a very difficult game, because they need points, and Bruce loves a defensive formation against the lower team and tends not to attack them. So I can see a draw in that game, potentially a Newcastle win if Bruce attacks them. Arsenal away, I think Arsenal will be too good for Newcastle. Leeds at home, I think you can probably get a draw out of that, but you'll need to be really switched on because they're a very attacking team. It might suit Newcastle's style of play, though, to play on the counter-attack with the way Bruce plays against the Leeds team. Everton away is going to be a tough game. Obviously spoke at length about them earlier. Very good team. I don't think they're getting many points, to be honest with you, and that's not me sort of trying to be funny. That's me trying to be honest. Newcastle have started talks with Kieran Clark over a new deal. Yeah, absolutely fantastic player. Best defender at the club for me. Go into Zaha's. No.
Okay, I think this is the team. Do you think he will do some changes against or same or some Brucey another formation?
Well, I'll tell you what I think of the players in that lineup. I think Darlow's fantastic. People are talking about Dubravka coming in. Forget that. He's been absolutely amazing for Newcastle in this period. I'm not a big lover of Yedlin, but although I did think he played really good against Liverpool, doesn't offer a lot if you're not playing an attacking formation for me. He's an attacking fullback. He's not the best defender in the world, but he has surprised me a little bit. I'm not Yedlin's biggest fan at all, but he did play well against Liverpool. I love Shah, love Fernandez, love that back three. Kieran Clark's a fantastic defender. Fernandez is very consistent, and Shah is a quality player. I know Sav loves Shah as well, so yeah, quality player. Like that back three. Richie, on and off. What's this one? Manchester City need to get rid of a few players and buy big in the transfer window. Yeah, I don't think they'll do it in January, to be honest with you, Tom.
Very hard to get rid of players, not easy.
I can't see them buying anyone in January. They might sell a few players, but prediction for you: Newcastle will win the Champions League before City once the takeover goes through. What a question! Imagine, God, there'd be some sore heads if they won the Champions League. That's for sure.
That's for your team.
Do you think Pogba will leave Manchester United? Yeah, I definitely think he will leave Manchester United, Tom, and I think he has to leave Manchester United for the good of him and the good of the club.
Yep.
How many more quality players do you think Man United need to win the Premier League? Which areas of the team do Man United strengthen to win the league? We need a centre-back, a world-class centre-back. We need a defensive-minded player, which I think we might buy in January. And we need a proven world-class right winger, someone like Jadon Sancho, who we could have had in the summer, but the board decided he was too dear. So centre-back, defensive midfield and right wing. And I don't think Man United are too far off of a title either. We've got a very good squad of players now and we've got very good squad depth. If we can add Pacific quality players to bring in attributes that the club doesn't already have at the moment, like a lack of pace at the back, for example, and a quality right winger who can get goals, we can win the title. I don't think Man United are too far off. And one thing I will say as well, Man United have got some very, very, very good young players in our youth academy that a lot of people don't know about. So the future's bright for Man United. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan. We've got some very, very good players in our under-23s.
If I will ask you this question, same, but for Newcastle. For me, I think need a player, position number 10, someone to control, have more control on the ball, have ball position, more ball position, because I think this is what you need for Newcastle. For me, I wish if someone like Shaqiri, it will make such a huge difference in my belief. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, I think did you put that up on your Twitter or something recently, Alwaleed, that you thought Shaqiri would be a good option for Newcastle? I swear I've seen that. I'm not sure if it was you that...
Yeah, it's not just another poll, just an opinion. I remember 67% of the fans agree with this choice.
Yeah, that is a very good choice, and I think that's a move that could probably happen as well. It's just whether Newcastle want to pay the money.
What a waste! He's on a bench, Liverpool all the time.
Yeah, and he was at Stoke, so why would he not want to come in front of 50,000 at St James's Park? It would be a good move. I don't particularly know the other. I have an idea of what I think Newcastle need. I think they need a right back. I think they could do with a left back. They could probably do with another centre back if Shah isn't going to stay, because I know he's out of contract. They just need more quality in the team in general. They've got quality players in certain positions, but they don't have a manager that's playing the style of play to warrant them, like Fraser, like Maximum, like Almiron. These players look sad to play under Bruce, which is a shame. With the right manager, with an Eddie Howe type manager or someone like that that's got different ideas and different ways of playing the game, you might see a much better Newcastle team. And they need a centre forward as well. in just to be an option for when Wilson's not fit, because they might get to the point where they play Wilson too much, too tired. And Joelinton, he needs put on the transfer market for me because he's not good enough. He sacked Di Matteo a few games after the Champions League. Is this what we're on about with Chelsea? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Di Matteo was ever Chelsea level. I know he won the Champions League with them, but in my opinion, he was never going to be a long-term Chelsea manager. Abramovich likes to sack managers too quickly. Chelsea will never be a club that has longevity. This is why I don't think Lampard will last, because he loves to change the managers. I'd take Mings at the Toon. Yeah, good shout as well. Tyrone Mings, good defender. Grealish reminds me of Gaza to a certain extent. Gaza's one of my heroes, absolutely phenomenal player. Jack Grealish, spoke about him earlier, fantastic player as well. I like Leicester, got Vardy and Perez, yeah. Quite like Jose Perez. Actually met him as well, really nice fella, good player. Possibly could come back to Newcastle, I think. Hey, Alwaleed. Oh, there you go, there's a question for you.
Yeah, you can answer it, Jimmy.
Hey, Alwaleed. Newcastle have been linked with Tomori. Yeah, very good player, will improve. Give you a bit of solidarity, a little bit of quality at centre-back. Can play out from the back as well. Not that Bruce likes to do that, but he can do if he needs to. Williams, yeah, I heard a little bit of talk about him coming back. I know you love him. You guys love him. Really good player. Followed his career when he was in Holland as well. Good player, Jetro Williams. King, not a big lover of King. He was at Man United. Didn't really impress me. Done all right at Bournemouth, but I think that's probably his level. Might do a job for Newcastle, but not for me. Todd Cantwell, yeah, really rate him. Think he's a good player. A little bit on the skinny side for the league. Got bullied in the Premier League when he was at Norwich, but definitely has the ability. I would probably say that would be a good deal if they could bring Todd Cantwell in, but I don't see what Cantwell offers you that Fraser doesn't, so I'd probably pass on that as well. You guys are planning to stream for? Yeah, I seen that earlier. I hope Paul's fast asleep now. He does understand we've broke down all 20 teams in the Premier League. It doesn't take half an hour to do that.
That's a parade for 2021. It's a long parade, so very close to it.
The performance level
against Liverpool should be going forward. Of course.
Yeah. Got to give Rich a special mention as well. He's asked so many questions, bless him. He must have watched the whole show. If you're still with us, Rich, I appreciate it, man. We all predicted a draw. Well done. Yeah, you did predict a draw as well, didn't you, against Liverpool?
Yeah.
That's the energy we need when teams are playing Liverpool, Alwaleed. Hopefully the takeover will go for 100%.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully you get a takeover and then some nice Saudis can come and buy Man United as well, and then we'll play billionaire versus billionaire and we'll see who wins.
Don't worry, Bruce will be out.
Bruce out.
Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think the Saudis are going to be giving Bruce 400 million to spend, are they? Let's be honest. So many questions. Mike Ashley taking Premier League to court, possibly.
Second choice.
Silence is golden, like Alwaleed said earlier. Silence is the best noise when it comes to a takeover. I would have Pochettino, but he's gone to PSG. Yeah, he chased the money, didn't he? Went to the easiest job in Europe. I could win trophies at PSG as well.
Did you see him for Manchester United, Pochettino?
I do like Pochettino, and I wouldn't have been against it, but I'm backing Ollie, ain't I? Ollie's at the wheel, isn't he? We've got to give him a chance. He's doing all right, but I do really like Pochettino. I think he done fantastic at Tottenham, but I think he's sold his soul a little bit to PSG. I don't really like that club. I don't like I wouldn't say I dislike them. Like, I like watching them because of the players they've got, but I just kind of don't like the way that they went about the Neymar deal and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but they're just ruling the French league, and it's a bit boring French football now because of their financial. And it makes me happy that they don't win the Champions League. So that's because money can't buy success sometimes in football. So.
Very old question. If you want to answer.
Cristiano Ronaldo will be a big miss for Manchester United. Cristiano Ronaldo will be a big miss at Manchester United. Why did he leave? He's been gone a long time, Tom. He's been gone a long time. Why did he leave? I think he got to a certain level and he didn't see any more progression at Man U. He'd won the Champions League. He'd won Premier League title after Premier League title. Absolutely fantastic talent. We signed him for 16.75 million from Sporting Lisbon at 18, and we sold him for 80 million, which was a record at the time. And he made no secret that he wanted to go and play in Spain. From him being from Portugal, he was at Real Madrid when he was younger, and it was his mum's dream for him to play for Real Madrid, and he lost his father when he was young. So I think he moved to Real Madrid because he wanted for his mother, and Real Madrid were a massive team at the time, still are. They're obviously not doing very well, but fantastic player, and they're not doing very well, Real Madrid. Now he's left, and I would love to see him at Man United. And if Messi goes to City, then Ronaldo's coming back to us. If you could buy one player in January for Man United and one player for the two. Oh, you want me to buy a player for Newcastle as well, do you? Who would they be? Man United. I'm going to try and keep them realistic. Man United. That's a cracking question, God. Asking me this at 1:15 in the morning.
Defense, I think. I don't know. What do you think?
Defender, yeah. If it was up to me, I would buy. I had the check and I had to sign the player. I would buy a centre back, and I would buy the boy Ben White from Brighton because I think he's a quality player. He's not playing very well at the moment, but I watched a lot of him in Leeds in the Championship, and he's a fantastic centre back. For Newcastle, oh God, Alwaleed, help me out here. Who are we going for? I think they need a bit more creativity in the midfield. It's a hard one, that, isn't it? I'll let you have that one, Alwaleed. I've said enough on here tonight.
For me, I said earlier, Shaqiri.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that. Shaqiri. That's
and for Manchester United, Koulibaly.
Koulibaly. Okay, good choice. Favorite ground?
Difficult one for you.
James's Park. You've been to? I've been to a fair few. I used to. People probably won't know this, but I spent a little bit of time in Italy. I lived in Italy for just over a year. So I have a soft spot for Lazio, and the Stadio Olimpico is a lovely stadium. I quite like Lazio. Used to take a little soft spot for them, but the nicest stadium I've probably been to, and for the atmosphere, was Borussia Dortmund. That was amazing. Like,
yeah, the
unbelievable.
The fans
like,
behind, yeah.
The yellow wall was absolutely amazing. I went and watched them play a team that was in the bottom three at the time, and the ground was full like 90 minutes before the start of the game, and they all had their scarves up, singing, children, women, singing together. It was unbelievable. What's your favourite Champions League game away you've been to? My favourite Champions League game away? Good question, Tom.
Top of your head.
It's a hard one. I don't really have a favourite, to be honest. I haven't been to loads of away games with Man United in the Champions League.
You've been to?
I haven't been to loads. I've been to. I was in Rome when we were in the Champions League final, but I haven't been to loads of away games at Man United. Off the top of my head, maybe I wasn't there, but atmosphere-wise, and I know people that was there, was the Fenerbahce away. I heard pretty good things about that, but I've watched United lots of times at Old Trafford, and I've been to cup finals in London and Champions League final in Rome, but I haven't been to group stage games in the Champions League a lot with Man United because I live in Newcastle and it's tough to get away. But it is something I would like to do in the future. But if I had a ground that I would go to as an away fan, it would be either Borussia Dortmund. I'd like to go to the Bernabeu because I've been to the Nou Camp. Borussia Dortmund, and I would like to go to Fenerbahce or Galatasaray just to see them set the stadium on fire before the fans come out and stuff like that. Yeah, they would be the grounds that there's so many grounds in Europe I want to go to. Honestly, I can't even tell you, but I would love to go to a Fenerbahce Galatasaray game. I think that would be amazing. I've been to a Celtic and Rangers game, so that was pretty good. That's a good ground that I've been to.
Tom Dixon, I guess we all kind of feel asleep on the show, so we'll take just last question from you. Tom asking many questions here, so let's take one. Last question, Jammie.
Yeah.
Thank you for being awake so far until now.
No, it's fine, honestly.
Okay, this one I think good one.
What's the atmosphere like at a Manchester derby? Right, okay, sorry. Your thoughts on David De Gea so far? Do you think Henderson will have a chance in the first team? I don't think he will this year, Tom, but I think Henderson will be our number two until De Gea leaves, and then he'll go on to be our number one. But Henderson's probably ability-wise on par with De Gea for me. I think he's a fantastic goalkeeper. He's just probably a little bit too young to step into De Gea's shoes now because De Gea's still there. If he wasn't there, he would be our number one. And I think Henderson should be number one for England as well. And I think Darlow should be number two. Saying that as well. And I'm not just saying that either. I think Darlow's a very good, underrated goalkeeper. He's proved how good he is since Dubravka's been injured. But long term, yes, I do, Tom. And the atmosphere at a Manchester derby, what's that one? The atmosphere like at a Manchester derby, just like when Newcastle play Sunderland. I've never been to a Newcastle-Sunderland game. I've been to town to watch the games. And I'll be honest with you, Tom, the 9 times out of 10, the games since I lived up here, Sunderland won. And I'm not even trying to wind you up either. They did win quite a lot. But I mentioned earlier when I was speaking about Newcastle, I went to the 5-1. I went in town. I can't remember the bar I was in, maybe Sam Jack's or something. But and the place was absolutely rocking. I went out thinking that it was just going to be like just a normal game. Like didn't really understand the background of it because I would just moved to Newcastle and it was just absolutely carnage. And I just remember Nolan doing the chicken celebration and everybody chicken celebration around the club, and I was just standing here like, God almighty, this is crazy. But yeah, that was pretty special. I would love to go to a Newcastle Sunderland game, but maybe Sunderland won't exist if things keep going. But Manchester derbies, it's amazing. Like probably one of the best memories I ever have of football is when Van Persie scored at City Stadium in the last minute. It was just absolute carnage. But
I remember.
Absolutely amazing. It's probably one of the best memories I have of being a Man United fan. But yeah, I would love to go to a Newcastle Sunderland game if they ever get back up to the Premier League, but I don't think that's going to happen. Manchester derby is practically the same as Sunderland, Newcastle. Massive game, and really don't like each other, and you can feel the hostility when the fans are around and stuff like that. It's just a typical derby game, but we're a much bigger club than Man City, Tom, so don't worry about that.
The backward from Ronnie, remember the back?
The what, sorry?
The backward, double kick.
Yeah, there's been so many amazing memories for Manchester and Sunderland, Newcastle. Like as I say, since I've lived in Newcastle, like Sunderland, the majority of the games, which was a bit rubbish, but the whole atmosphere, like in the city, is just. You'll know. Like I don't know who Al Hilal's rivals are, but you'll know. And it's just a massive game. Like Manchester United, Man City is a huge game, and Newcastle and Sunderland is just an absolutely huge game. But from where I only know that because I live down south, and Newcastle fans probably won't like this, but this is just the way it is. Like it's a huge game up here, but people in London and that, they don't know about that game. They don't care about Newcastle and Sunderland, and that's just me being honest. I didn't grow up knowing that Sunderland and Newcastle was a derby, and that's just me being honest. I was so naive to that until I moved to Newcastle. I didn't understand why they didn't like each other, because there is a bit of a gap between Newcastle and Sunderland, not a massive gap, but whereas Man U and Man City, they're in the same city. So I didn't know who Newcastle's rivals were when I moved up here, like because Newcastle's the only team in the city. I thought their rivals might have been Gateshead that are across the water. So when I realised, I soon realised how big of a game it was, you know, and up the Mackhams as well. We don't like talking about the Mackhams, so we'll leave them there and away the lads, as they say.
Do you know, Jimmy, Al Hilal beat Manchester United and beat Manchester City before?
Your team beat Man United.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to start paying attention to this Al Hilal now. I'm going to start seeing how they get on.
And it's event because our captain back then, Sami Al Jaber, he retired from football, and before Manchester United win the Champions League 2008,
yeah,
they play here in Riyadh. They come to Gulf for tournament just to prepare for same these days in January, and the game was 3-2.
3-2.
3-2.
I can't tell you that I remember that far back, but especially at this time in the morning. But no, I know. I don't know a lot about Saudi Arabian football, but I know that Al Hilal are one of the biggest teams. I think my knowledge base on Saudi Arabian football is I know who Al Hilal are because I've followed you for a little while, and I know they're a big team over there. You've got Al Ittihad, yeah. Al Ain.
That's
Al Ain. Oh, is it?
Al-Ain,
okay. All right, just Al Ittihad and Al Hilal was my knowledge then. But who knows? They might become a big league one day. I'm sure they've got the financial backing, the Saudis, and I know they try and get some European players to come and play over, like Gomez. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on them for you. And I was going to say I won't be able to join you on your Al Hilal show because I can't speak Arabic, so I'll just have to leave that to you.
Maybe we can talk about the game from Al Hilal and Manchester United game.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. One day they might play again, and we can do a watch along.
Last word to Newcastle fans.
Yeah. Last word to Newcastle fans from me.
Of course, yeah.
Just keep doing what you are doing. Keep your support up. Keep your heads up. You know what the club's history is about. You know the infrastructure at the club. You know how much the team means to you. It might not be a very good situation at the moment. I know a lot of you don't want the manager. I totally understand that as well. If you've watched the whole show tonight, then I really appreciate it, because it's been a long one and I've talked at length about Newcastle with the two lads. Just keep your support up, keep the love for the club, keep supporting the team, keep your head on the club, because better times are coming. Sorry, not better teams. Better times are coming. The takeover is going to go through. It is going to happen, whether it's the Saudis or whether it's somebody else. You are going to get your takeover, and you're going to get your club back. And don't be tarnished by what's going on around the club, and just focus on the team and support the team. I've been in St James's Park. I know what it feels like. I know how much the black and white shirt means to the fan base. I appreciate the black and white shirt, obviously not on the same level as the Newcastle fans that have supported them since birth, but yous are some of the best fans in the world, and good times are coming. Good times are coming. It might not be good times at the moment, but they are coming. Whether it's the takeover you think you're going to get, but one's coming, and hopefully one day I can go to the town and I can have a beer with the Matters lads, and you as well. If you are here, have a beer, because you've won a trophy, and the city's been good to me. I've lived up here for a long time. I've got a lot of friends up here. I love the city, and I would love to see the football team as well. So I'm not going to take too much more time of it, but all I can say is, how are the lads, and good times are coming. And away to the Matters lads as well. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for this long show, Jimmy. It was a pleasure to be with us.
No, thank you very much as well. I know it's been a long one. I don't know if your shows are this long, but I wanted to go detailed tonight and let people really listen to what I had to say. So
quite a bit.
It's been a good one, and I'm going to sleep really well after this as well. I'm going to finish my water because my throat's dry. But no, thank you very much for having me on your platform, Alwaleed. I know you do a lot of different things with Al Hilal, and you're always on with the lads, and lovely to meet you as well. I really appreciate you having me on, and maybe we can do another one day, and when we've got maybe Newcastle Man U playing each other, maybe we'll do a little preview show or something like that. But absolute pleasure to come on, and stay safe out there, and Happy New Year to everybody in Saudi Arabia as well. And I'm sure I'll keep in touch with the both of you, and particularly you, Alwaleed, with being in the chat with the lads and being on the Matters show. But really appreciate it, because I know I haven't known you for that long, and been a good experience, and best wishes to the both of you. And I'll leave it at that, because it's been a long night and I'm going to bed.
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for watching, guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy. We are happy that we spent a great show actually tonight, and I am always watching my shows. So tomorrow I will watch it again to catch what
you've got a long watch tomorrow. I appreciate it, Alwaleed. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
And good night.
I'm coming home, Newcastle. Ben Arfa all the way. What a goal! Hassan Ben Arfa! A magnificent goal! I'm coming home, Newcastle. Cisse. Oh, that is sensational!